and drive lease on a 2019 Equinox. There's no down payment, and it's just $239 a month for 36 months at 10,000 miles a year on this roomy compact crossover with seating for 5. You can fit Joseph Newgarden, Simon Pagenaud, Will Power, and Roger in your car and still have plenty of room for a cooler and snacks. Lease a Silverado LD for just $199 a month. Jason Brett have all the details on how little you need to bring to the table on this winning deal. In all remaining 2018s, cars, trucks, crossovers, and utilities are over $10,000 off, or take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months. You can't beat the deals when you race to savings at Penske Chevrolet, 96th and Keystone, and online at PenskeChevyIndy.com. Chevy, find new roads.
I'm Greg Gossett, President and CEO of ERPCO, your complete electrical systems and automation contractor. While you may recognize us from some of the highest profile projects in Indianapolis, did you know that we also perform residential work? Storm season is upon us, so keep your family safe with a home generator installed by the experts from ERPCO. Contact our service team. You'll be glad you did. Visit the ERPCO website at erpco.com for more information. We're a quality connection contractor. Quality work, customer connected.
Hey, it's JMV, and cutting season 2019 is here. Are you ready? Paul and the gang at the Mower Shop in Fishers have you covered. Toro, zero turns, Honda push mowers, Hustlers, the Spartan lawnmower, which is so awesome. You can go ahead and check out what they have to offer at themowershop.com. You buy it there, they will deliver it directly to your door. And they're also the place for all your parts and supplies. That's themowershop.com or 849-9500. Tell Paul I sent you. Themowershop.com. Now,
on race day, all 33 drivers in the Indianapolis 500 field will be speeding towards one shared goal to meet 2 Indiana dairy farmers at the end of the race.
Because those dairy farmers will be holding the main ingredient to the most iconic celebration in all of sports, the Victory Circle bottle of milk.
3-time 500-mile race winner Louis Meyer launched the tradition back in the 1930s when he took the checkered flag and asked for a bottle of his favorite beverage, buttermilk. Many years, thousands of miles, and gallons of milk later, the beloved tradition continues, and milk is recognized around the globe as the symbol of victory at Indianapolis.
So raise your own glass of pure, ice-cold goodness on race day and every day and enjoy the same thirst-quenching taste savored by the Indianapolis 500 champion. Great taste, plus 9 essential nutrients. Milk, undeniably dairy. It's worth the drive year after year.
Need air conditioning service or a great rebate on a new air conditioner from an American Standard air dealer like Baptist Heating and Air in Indy? Visit IndyHomeComfort.com today.
Maybe you haven't pulled the trigger on a refinance because you don't want to start over with 30 years. You want an 18 or 27-year loan? No problem. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
This is Indy Sports Center. WFNI, WIBC, HD2, W298BB, W228CX, Indianapolis. Go trackside with Kurt Cavan and Kevin Lee. Weeknights at 7 on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
What in the hell do you think you're doing?
Hey, John Boy.
I'm telling you straight, it's my way or the highway. So anybody wants to walk, do it now.
Hey, everybody, we're all gonna get late.
Kick is up, and it is long enough, and it is good. Adam Vinatieri, at age 45, drills one from 57 yards out.
Was kept alive by Oladipo, and Sabonis with a left hand.
John, I have never been better to be on the air with you here in Indianapolis, a place where so many of my dreams have come true.
The Ride with JMV, FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
All right, let's do this. Kevin Bowen, Tony Donahue here. Kyle Udemark here as well. Intern Perry. JMV is stoned somewhere down in his house. He had a dental procedure today. So we're taking over on The Ride with JMV at Tony D 1070 with your Twitter comments. KB, let's have some fun today, bud.
Yeah, this is you and I were talking just before the show started. It's like a busy Monday here, certainly locally with the Grand Prix and everything that's going to happen over the next 2 weeks. But then you got the John Beeline news, the Frank Vogel news, 2 pretty epic Game 7 finishes yesterday. So I'm pumped up for the next couple hours.
Lots of NBA conversation to be had, as well as the NTT IndyCar Series on Saturday. Simon Pagenaud picking up his third career win at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He's 3 for 6 in the IndyCar Grand Prix that ended under rainy conditions. That made that a lot of fun. Again, we'll get into the NBA talk as well. We'll also fit in some Colts, Connor Daly, Simon Pagenaud, Jack Harvey, Mario Andretti, the scheduled guests in here coming up throughout the day. KB, let's start with those Game 7s yesterday. I thought Portland had the better chance of a team to win on the road, but that shot for Kawhi Leonard, which then made Twitter a lot of fun because it was mixed with his laugh. It was mixed with, I saw a couple things on the opposite of a Cody Parkey doink that we saw back in the NFL playoffs. But the Western and Eastern Conference Finals are set with the Portland Trailblazers taking on the Warriors, and the well-rested Bucks will face off against the Toronto Raptors. Game 1 tomorrow night of the Western Conference, Game 1 of the Eastern Conference on Wednesday. Let's start with that Portland game. They get down early. Damian Lillard struggling, but C.J. McCollum takes over. I know Pacer fans are going to want to go in the direction of let's go get this guy, which we would all love. It's probably unrealistic. But Portland yesterday in that comeback win, very impressive.
Definitely, and to do it on the road, to do it when your star is struggling like that, and we know the injury issues that they've had this year to Nurkic, but it's fun watching Portland play because it's a little bit like a college basketball team to me in that they have these two smaller guards in C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard, and they're just scorers that you just kind of go give them the ball, and they do their thing.
Yes.
And for C.J. McCollum to do that on the road, again, when your real go-to guy in Lillard is, having a, definitely a subpar game for his standards, although he did make a couple of big plays for them late. But when they got down early, I was surprised how resilient they were because I feel like in Game 7s, home court means so much. But their issues early on, they were able to kind of stymie the tide there late in the first half, and C.J. McCollum was just he was unstoppable, honestly, late in that game. I mean, his ability to split some of those double teams and pick and rolls and a lot of mid-range action, which was, again, fun to see with how the NBA has sort of evolved.
What I saw yesterday in Portland was a full team effort. Rodney Hood goes down. Evan Turner, who has struggled throughout probably the entire season, but certainly in the playoffs,
definitely
steps up. We know C.J. McCollum scoring 37 points. I saw a total team effort. Even Zach Collins, who I think is really coming into his own. He had 5 fouls, had to play smarter on the defensive end towards the end of that game. A total team effort, and it seemed like once the pressure was put on Denver, they didn't have the experience to come back once they found themselves down. I mean, they were dominant in that first half.
They had a chance to step on their throat a little bit, I thought, in the first half. And when you let a team, hang around like that, when they do have the scoring capability that Portland does in the backcourt, that's dangerous, especially at home in a Game 7. Again, that's when you have that ability, I think, to really seize the atmosphere and just how up and down that whole series has been. I'm very, very curious to see if Portland can steal one of these first two. Now moving forward, it sounds like Kevin Durant definitely out Game 1, probably Game 2. So you do have an opportunity. What did you say, Tuesday night?
It's tomorrow night. That's what I was going to – my next question. With Durant out, Rodney Hood is day-to-day. He should be clear. Not that he's a huge part, but he did play well, especially in Games 3 and 4. I think you know what you're going to get in Rodney Hood. He's going to fire that basketball from anywhere he is. With that short turnaround – is it difficult to go from a Sunday to a Tuesday and steal that first game on the road? I've always said, especially with the Pacers the last couple of years who have gone into Game 1s as underdogs, I've always thought that on the road, it's not easiest isn't the right term, but it's the most likely to steal a game on the road is that Game 1 where you come in, and if you can get hot, you can steal a Game 1. We saw what the Clippers did in the first round, getting a game in Golden State, so it can be done, which in the past years you'd say probably wouldn't been able to. But with Durant out, I think Portland has a really good chance carrying that momentum that they gained yesterday and that come from behind winning Game 7 to go and steal Game number 1 tomorrow night.
Yeah, I still definitely like Golden State in the series. But for them to, I think put serious pressure on them, they have to get one of these first 2 games. It'll be really interesting to see just the psyche of both of those teams because we haven't really had a chance to talk about what Golden State did on Friday night. I mean, that was really impressive without Kevin Durant to go down there in Houston and to have that team that was kind of a team that we saw 3 or 4 years ago. That group of Thompson and Iggy and obviously Curry, Draymond Green. I mean, that they got some big plays off the bench too. I thought from Kevin Looney was big as well. How does Golden State now react to their ability to breathe a little bit? Now they have a Portland team that I don't think anybody expected to be in the Western Conference Finals. Do they still have that same mindset that finished out Game 5 without Kevin Durant and then won a huge road game down there in Houston? And then on the flip side of it, you've got Portland, who just won, one of their biggest games in franchise history.
Yep.
And they're in the conference finals for. We were talking to Perry the intern earlier. He's a
big Portland guy,
diehard Portland fan, and he hasn't been. He said he was 2 years old last time Portland made the conference finals back in 2000. That was the whole Shaq to Kobe lob and another thrilling series when the Pacers made the NBA finals that year. Where does Portland at in a quick turnaround, like you mentioned, and almost feeling certainly like they're playing with house money. So I think Portland has a chance in the first two, but honestly, I don't feel great about this series lasting 6 or 7 games.
Well, I predicted that Portland would be in the Western Conference Finals, but only because I thought the Spurs would beat the Nuggets in that first round. Portland is probably the team that I follow the most outside of the Indiana Pacers.
Why is that?
I don't know. I would say because my parents are in Seattle, but that's not even it. I just really like C.J. McCollum, and Damian Lillard is probably one of my, if not my favorite player outside of anybody who plays for the Pacers. And it just seems like they're always a late-night game sometimes. I like James Harden a lot, but as a team, I think Portland is a team that I follow the most. Maybe it's because I follow Brooke Olzendam, who may join us today. They're heading to Oakland. But I really like this team. And when you have guys like Al-Farouq Amino and Mo Harkless stepping up for you, and you don't need those guys to have double-doubles. You don't need those, and even Myers Leonard yesterday, who people forget was the 11th overall pick, how many years ago? Was it 2011 out of Illinois? It was a total team effort, I thought. Zach Collins was in foul trouble. Harkless started the game but didn't start the second half. I like Portland as a team. Do I think they're going to beat the Warriors in a 7-game series? No. But do I think they can push it to 5 to 6 games? Absolutely.
They have Lillard and C.J. McCollum, who would, of course, start for anybody in the league. But then outside of that, they've got pretty much everybody else in the rotation. It seems like another team has written them off, or they've been labeled
just a guy.
Yeah, Leonard and Collins, they haven't lived up to where they are drafted. Even Enes Kanter. I mean, a couple months ago he's playing for the worst team in the NBA, and now look where he's at right now. And I guess part of that, I kind of agree with what you're saying in that you enjoy watching them. It goes back to what I said earlier. I don't know. To me, they just have a college feel to them.
Absolutely.
And these two smaller guards, and you always hear about guards win in March.
Yeah.
We obviously saw that here locally with what Purdue was able to do in the month of March. Portland, it's taken a while because they have had, teams that have been a little bit higher seeded and have struggled in the playoffs before.
Swept last year.
Right, and they've had 2 thrilling series so far. Both of them have gone. I think that Spurs series, went 7 games as well. And I'm just, again, very interested to see where they are at, because I think if they do get a chance and they can take care of Game 1 or Game 2, then when KD comes back, that could maybe keep this series a lot more competitive than I think most people think it will be.
I thought you nailed it talking about the Portland Trailblazers. They are guys that were overlooked or written off or underdogs. You think about C.J. McCollum said it yesterday in the post game. Look, I went to Lehigh, so this is nothing new to me. And then with Dame Lillard going to Weber State, I mean, these are guys that did not play major college basketball. I mean, you think about that starting 5. I mean, I know Kanter was at Kentucky for 12 games.
Yeah, I was gonna say they were nervous about his eligibility coming over from Turkey.
So, like you said, there's an underdog feel to them, which reminds me of almost like the Pacers of the West, because the Pacers, despite the fact that Victor went down and they got swept, but you go back to last year, I mean, they pushed Cleveland to the brink in that first round, and you go back to even when Paul George was here,
Toronto, that first round
and CJ
series
Miles, hit the bottom of the backboard. But that just kind of what it reminds me of, guys that gel together and make a team. But look, Damian Lillard is an absolute superstar, and I think you would put C.J. McCollum in maybe that second tier, maybe flirt with that third tier. But
outside of that, it's a huge drop off.
Outside of that, I mean, you've got. like I said, Zach Collins has kind of came into his own. How do they stack up against the Warriors? Obviously, the starting five, the Malibu starting five that the Warriors go with is probably what you're going to continue to see. And the Warriors bench, I don't think is as deep as it's been in the past. But how do you see Portland stacking up in this?
It's not as deep, but I thought, again, Looney gave them great minutes in Game 6, which was definitely what they needed on the road. I don't know. Maybe I just feel like Portland eventually is just going to run out, back-to-back 7-game series. I know Golden State has been tested, that I think if you'd have taken the over-under how many games Golden State would have played up to this point, that they've definitely, I think, hit the over on that so far in both of those series against the Clippers and the Rockets. I don't think I'm breaking any news here, but I fully expect the Eastern Conference Finals to be a lot more competitive. I could easily see that going 7 games, whereas out West, I would be somewhat surprised if it went longer than about 5 or 6 games. Now, for that to happen, it goes back to what you're just saying, Tony, and you got to get one on Tuesday or you got to get one on Thursday. I do find it, and you just brought this up, I find it pretty cool that when you look at the colleges of these guys, and you just mentioned C.J. McCollum, Lehigh, Damian Lillard, Weber State, even like Steph Curry, Davidson, and Klay Thompson, Washington State. And then you go out east, and it's, of course, Giannis from Greece, but then it's Kawhi Leonard, San Diego State. And just the household names left in the playoffs aren't these one-and-dones from Kentucky and Kansas and North Carolina and Duke and, like, schools that you would
expect.
Yeah, just kind of assume you're even like a Chris Middleton or Kyle Lowry.
Well, George Hill, who's with IPY, and I think he was the X factor for the Bucks late in that last series. Let me ask you this too: are we at the point now? We knew it was going to come eventually. Everybody loves the Warriors, loves Steph Curry. Are we to the point now where you look at the Blazers, who haven't been to a conference final since 2000? We're going to see the Bucks or the Raptors make it to the NBA Finals for the first time in the 3 of ours lifetime. Could be the first time for the Raptors. Do you find yourself, or do you think you'll start seeing people turn against the Warriors and start cheering for somebody new?
Definitely. Yeah. I think we're there. I think some of their outward complaining towards officials this year has been such a huge topic. I don't look at any of their guys maybe individually. Yeah, Draymond, I think, pisses some people off.
Yes.
Occasionally Kevin Durant maybe as well. But, for the most part, I think Steph and Klay Thompson are very well liked.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I do think we've reached that point where, okay, it was fun when it was them against LeBron to a degree, probably not in this market, but to some people, it definitely was. So, yeah. I think right now, people are like, all right, incredible run, one of the best we've seen in modern basketball. But now it's all right. Giannis, I love what Toronto did this past offseason and saying, like, okay, we just had an unbelievable year.
Yep.
But we cannot get it done in the playoffs. We have to do something different. They fire their coach of the year. They take one of their best players in franchise history and decide to trade him away. They needed an infusion of sorts, and they went out and they took a risk on Kawhi Leonard.
Which is what the Pacers need to start looking to do is take risks.
Be creative. Do something. You have to know where your ceiling is, and this is something that
we'll get into.
Yeah,
for sure.
we'll definitely get into. But I really like what Toronto did, and we'll see if they get rewarded here this year in making a run, and then obviously down the road with what Kawhi Leonard decides to do.
Kevin Bowen, Tony Donahue, Kyle Udemark here, filling in for JMV FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. We can continue to talk about the NBA playoffs. There's a lot I want to dive into as far as a Pacers standpoint, as well as the NBA draft that's coming up, the lottery coming out tomorrow night. Let's go to the IndyCar Grand Prix that was ran right here on The Fan on Saturday. Simon Pagenaud leads the final 5 laps after running down Scott Dixon in the rain. Felix Rosenqvist qualified on the pole for the first time in his career, ended up finishing 8th. Kev, I thought it was the most exciting race of the 6 that we've seen. It was a new added element in the rain. I know you went back and watched it today, but a very impressive run. Simon Pagenaud, he talked about, I kept my front tires in check on that last stint. Dixon kind of ran out of it. The setup was there for Simon with, the adjustments that he made on that final pit stop when he took rain tires. But impressive to not only run down the 5-time champion, it's another thing to pass him. He did that with ease to pick up his 3rd win in 6 tries at the Brickyard on the road course.
You know what really stood out to me? Obviously, the pass of Dixon speaks for itself. But how about just picking driver after driver off to get all the way up to Dixon. I mean, when you kind of throw a freeze frame at the race with whatever, you could do it when that caution came out with 16, 17 laps to go, something like that, or do it at various stints, leading into those final two laps when he eventually passed Dixon. He's 10 seconds behind him, 7 seconds behind him, and he still has multiple cars that he has to pass.
Yep.
I just couldn't believe the ease. And I know, to me, he made it look easy. I know it's much more calculated than that, but to get past, Laced and Harvey, did he get by Spencer Piggott maybe too after one of those cautions as well? It was really, really impressive, and I love seeing his emotion post-race. I mean, that was something that I think in a different way, similar to the emotion we saw from Will Power last year at the 500, of a guy that, some people maybe haven't totally written off.
Yeah.
But I think when you talk about Penske, he's probably right now the odd man out of that group. So I thought that was really, really cool to see, and obviously awesome for Jack Harvey getting his first podium for a guy that is looking to get a full season right.
And back to Simon on the victory, who is expected to join us at about 4:35 today. I had mentioned my podcast last week. I'm looking for Ed Carpenter Racing, who ended up in the top 5 or top 6, and Simon Pageant have a bounce back, because there have been rumblings. Okay, there's so much talent, and Alexander Rossi comes to mind.
Yeah,
he is a free agent at the end of the year, and look what he's done with Andretti. Now, I think Alex is loyal to Andretti, obviously, throughout the season, but you answer the phone when Roger Penske calls,
sure.
And Alex ran for Penske in the 24 hours of Daytona, so you better believe the captain had an eye on what Alexander was doing, and Alex, obviously we're talking about Simon here, but Alex is a very calculated, very methodical, great driver that I think is what Roger Penske looks for. We can get into that in the offseason, but for Simon he struggled in 2018, had not the best start here in 2019.
And Penske struggled in qualifying on Friday.
I mean, it was. People say, oh, well, Will Power made it into the top 6. To him, he was disappointed. Like, that was a struggle.
Yeah.
And
seems like every year he's on the pole.
Yeah. And to have Simon, who qualified 8th and really wasn't a factor until really the rain took over. He had a good car. I think there was 249 passes throughout the entire race. But for him to win, I think you mentioned the emotion. And him celebrating, I think it was a sigh of relief, like, okay, we can still get this done. And when you talked to any of the drivers last week, it was, we can really gain momentum. More than anything, we can gain momentum this weekend by running good, getting everything dialed in for the 500. Obviously, there's no better way to gain that momentum moving forward than to win the race like he did. But I think it was a relief. I talked to him after, and I said, man, it's got to feel good, just because it had been 22 races
for a guy that'd been dominant.
Was a champion, had won this race a couple years back, and struggled last year as a defending champion of the series, and for him to bounce back, I think that was a huge relief. We'll talk to him about that. Scott Dixon, the old crafty veteran who is always up there, he's always going to be a force to be reckoned with. And then, like you mentioned, Jack Harvey, who is going to call us as well. We're going to hear from him just after 4:15. That was big, because the qualifying effort that Jack Harvey had was the most impressive qualifying run we saw, despite the fact that Felix Rosenquist had the pole. Felix is a great talent, and we talked to him on Saturday in the pre-race with JMV, but he's also in a Ganassi car. He's a full-time driver. Jack, who's only running 10 races, who has had a couple top 10s so far this year. I think he's finished 10th 3 times. To me, it was, okay, I know Jack has the talent, and he's one of those guys that sometimes in IndyCar, a talent takes backseat to a driver who has a check.
Yes.
And Jack's been putting stuff together. He was up towards the front deep in that 500 last year, where he tried a different strategy to win. He had the best Aero Schmidt-Peterson car all weekend, and my thing was, okay, you've proven it to me that you can do it in qualifying. Can you have that pace in the race? Can your pit crew keep you up front? And for him to finish 3rd, I thought was probably the second most impressive drive, despite behind the 5 laps that Simon Pagenaud ran at the end.
And to do it in an environment that he has never been in the sense of the rain.
Yes, absolutely.
That was a huge element. And I guess that's something that I'll ask you. How much was the entertainment that we saw on Saturday? Mm-hmm. By far, or maybe I'm putting words into your mouth, definitely the most entertaining race that you've seen here on the road course for the IndyCar.
Yeah.
How much was that? weather-related, or what other factors played into the number of passes and obviously a pretty thrilling final 15 laps?
It was certainly weather-related because we saw in that mid part of the race, Dixon was the dominant car, and he obviously led the most laps. He was the dominant car of the day, but the adjustments that he made compared to what Simon made in that last yellow that came out allowed Simon to have the faster car, and like you said, pick off driver after driver. And we were talking about just the different race within this race, the race to get on rain tires. How will you manage your push to pass?
Yeah, so much strategy involved.
And Scott Dixon had push to pass, but I think he didn't have the grip, I think, in the rain to use that.
Because Simon had used up all of his push
Simon
to pass,
had used them all up. So there was so many different strategies that went into that race. And I think just the fact that there was so much new talent qualified up front. Ed Jones was inside the top 5 for qualifications. And then Matthias Laced, who had his best career run, and
Foyt needed that.
And Foyt absolutely needed that, which was we barely mentioned them on the pre-race because they were just so far back. Kanaan started last. I think Laced was second or third to last.
I think he came up 17 spots.
And for him to move up, I mean, that just shows that road courses are the great equalizer in the series, but you throw rain, a different strategy in there, and that also equalizes the field. So certainly an entertaining race. We can take your thoughts on that, 317-239-1070, at KBowen1070 on Twitter, at Tony D. 1070 on Twitter. Kyle Udemark is here, in for JMV, who had a dental procedure today, so he's jacked up somewhere listening, and we'll take your calls. We got plenty to give away. Guests to come. You're listening to The Ride without JMV, FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
It's The Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe.
Perfect time to bring on Stu Gatz. What's the best frame of mind to have as you go in?
Yeah, I think it's a good analogy for the show. You have dad who's at home, who's trying to get work done in the office, and yet all these kids are running around doing everything they can to prevent dad from getting the work he needs to get done at home in the office, and that's what we're all doing.
The Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe. Weekday mornings, 7 to 10. Only on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Powered by the Hubler Auto Group, a dealer to help the people. Shopping for a new or used vehicle? Click drivehubler.com for Indiana's largest selection of best deals. Hubler has it all.
Hello, this is Rob Evans. At INHP, we believe everyone in Indianapolis deserves to live in a safe, decent, and affordable home in a vibrant neighborhood. That's why INHP provides homeownership education classes, affordable fixed-rate home loans, and down payment assistance for low to moderate income households. INHP clients gain knowledge and purchasing power, enabling them to afford the home of their choice in a neighborhood that's right for them. Learn more about the choices available to you at INHP.org. That's INHP.org.
Running a business, you've relied on the big machine to keep your internet and voice services worry-free. But one day, your voice and internet stop working, costing you customers by the minute. So you place a call to the big machine, and you hear, "Hold the line." After several transfers and hearing,
"Oh, I am sorry, but you have the wrong department. Hold, please."
You realize you're with the wrong company. You call Teltec.
This is Teltec owner Troy Brasso. At Teltec, we take great pride in providing professional, hands-on support. Established businesses like Whole Wall Heating and Air and Carson Agency continue to experience the benefits of Teltec's customer care.
If you're a business of 10 to 200 employees or more, Teltec invites you to put an end to your reliance on the big machine and contact Teltec for a free review today. 317-390-8585 and click on simple123.biz. That's simple123.biz. Teltec.
Are kids better off in an intact family? You bet they are. This is Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Kids living in a household with married parents do better in school, they're emotionally healthier, and they're more likely to stay out of trouble with the law. If you're in a troubled marriage, of course you should do everything you can to save your marriage, if only for your kids' sake. This includes considering alternatives to divorce. Of course, in some circumstances, divorce is unavoidable. In either case, if you're a man facing a crisis in your marriage, let us help you at Cordell & Cordell. Remember, we're the partner men can count on.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys. A partner men can count on. 317-322-0122. Or visit online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Indianapolis. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46204.
So you're breaking up with me?
It's not you, it's your morning news.
What about my
it's
morning?
It's boring, Karen.
But I grew up watching that station.
Fox 59 Morning News has all the weather, traffic, and local news I need. And they make it fun. When I watch Ray, Angela, and Jim, I feel like I'm in love. I love Fox 59 Morning News, and I don't care who knows.
But I can change. What if I watch Fox 59 Morning News with you?
Well, now we're talking.
Break out of that rut. Have a little fun with Fox 59 Morning News. Fox Tonight.
911, what is your emergency?
All season long, critics called 911 outrageous.
This guy sent his bombs through the mail.
Unpredictable.
I'm on this guy's mailing list?
I think so.
And addictive.
Bomb squad just cleared your home, Captain Nash. Nothing there.
So we saved the biggest bombshell.
Or maybe you searched the wrong house.
For last. 911, the explosive season finale, followed by an all-new Paradise Hotel. It all starts tonight at 8 on Fox 59.
Springtime in Indy, and if you hate the paint, do what Terry did. He called Rhino Shield.
A 130-year-old Victorian house. Probably about 12 years for the last paint job, and it was starting to really fade. And I heard about Rhino Shield. It sounded like almost too good to be true.
Rhino Shield's not paint. It's better.
What really intrigued me was the guarantee, because I looked at that and I thought, if I can get 25 years out of a paint job, it's going to really make it a lot better for me.
Now you can have the guaranteed protection of Rhino Shield for 15% off the regular price.
I still stand out front and just stare at it. The color is so vibrant. It's really much more intense. It almost looks like the house was colorized. It's fantastic.
Here's owner Jim Williams.
This offer's limited, so call me at 888-RHINO-41. That's 888-RHINO-41.
Don't paint.
Don't vinyl.
Go Rhino.
Don't paint. Don't vinyl. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Hi, I'm Tony Canan, and I'm here with Chuck Jones at Bill Estes Chevy. Chuck, how long have we known each other?
Tony, you've been coming to Bill Estes Chevy as long as I've been here.
Well, Chuck, it's my 22nd year in racing.
Wow, let's do something to celebrate. To honor your career, we're going to take up to 22% off new Chevys during May.
That sounds like winner to me.
If you want to win with the new Chevy, then find new roads to Bill Estes Chevy or online at BillEstesChevy.com and get up to 22% off. Just ask for the TK deal.
Chuck, you're the man.
Thanks, TK.
Are you wanting a stable, growing career with competitive wages, benefits, and that's also willing to train you to get your CDL license? Then Ray's Trash wants to talk to you. Ray's Trash is looking for general labor CDL drivers and mechanics. With over 300 trucks and growing, Ray's Trash is looking for individuals with a strong work ethic to be part of their team. Apply today online at raystrash.com or in person at any of their locations. So what are you waiting for? Ray's Trash is an equal opportunity employer. If you need trash service, call Ray's Trash.
I warned everyone 4 months ago that this year the purchase market would be fierce, and I was right. You need to be working with the right lender. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
Join 300,000 fans screaming over 700 horsepower engines at the Indy 500 presented by Gainbridge. Get your tickets at IMS.com. This is Indy. This is May.
Sports with Dan Dockage.
Mike Tirico, nice enough to join us. When did they tell you, how does it work in your world?
The normal traffic is the race ends right after the first interview with the trainer. We heard, hey, something might be up. And at that time, our producer's telling me, hey, something's up, hang on a second. And he's getting me the numbers for the horse. And the objection is what's technically called, is that we're in for about 25 minutes.
Dan Dockett, weekdays noon till 3 on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Blouses.
On FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Welcome back to Ride with JMV. Kyle Udemark, Tony Donahue, Kevin Bowen. Kyle, why the hell are you playing Aerosmith, one of the most overrated bands of the last 30 years?
Because I saw your tweet the other night.
Man.
Gotta have some Aerosmith.
Man, this is just...
Are you an Aerosmith fan?
No, no.
John?
I'm glad my parents weren't, because then they would have named me Steven Tyler Donahue and my initials would have been STD. But I am not a big Aerosmith fan. Like, Train Kept Rolling I can hang with, but I was actually... a couple buddies went to Hairbangers Ball on Saturday night at the Vogue, and they played a couple of Aerosmith songs, and I was like, this just sucks. I'm not an Aerosmith fan. Are you an Aerosmith fan?
No.
Kyle?
No, not really.
Somebody tweeted, I think it was DJ Indiana Jones, said if it wasn't for Run DMC, they would be doing the State Fair and Casino tour right now. And
exactly,
I think a lot of people, on the subject of the race, I think a lot of people are still pissed off at Steven Tyler for the way he sang the national anthem in 2000 or 2001.
Trying to forget about that. Have they announced national anthem?
They have
or
not.
Any of
So
that
we talked
yet?
to Doug Bowles. They have not announced national anthem, pace car, or green flag. Pace car is interesting. You got to think that they're going to either want to throw, NBC is going to want to throw either Danica or Dale Jr. in there. So that could be a possibility. Tom Hanks is going to be here Thursday. Would he stick around? I mean, I don't know.
I would think
I don't
you
know
wouldn't
a famous
have already
actor's schedule.
I would think you wouldn't already have publicized that.
Yeah,
that seems to be something that's like you want your own kind of isolated thing of like, oh, here, insert person's doing the green flag. Was it Oladipo? Was he the pace car?
The pace car, yeah. Doug Bowles did mention that most of them are already set in stone. They're waiting on maybe one or two more announcements. So we'll have you covered right here on the Fan at Tony D 1070. Or you could take your guess if you want to guess at K Bowen 1070 at Tony D 1070 who's gonna drive the pace car and wave the green flag. I liked that they did over the weekend. They had an NBC connection with the guy from This Is Us and the guy, and then obviously Corey Crawford in the 2-seater. Kevin, I couldn't help but notice. I know the lights are on here, but you look a little red over there, bud. You get a little tan?
A little tan. Was in Miami this weekend for a buddy's bachelor party. So
casually go to Miami?
Yeah, just casually. It is an environment that chewed me up and spit me out pretty quickly. So yeah, I'm more of a I've been, I guess, twice for work for like Colts, Dolphins, Fort Lauderdale, more of an area. But man, you get down there in Miami and whew.
It's a different world down there, especially for a freshly married man like you.
Different world. Yeah, the wife was peppering me with questions last night. Boy. Yeah, everything's good.
He's Kevin Bowen. I'm Tony Donahue. Kyle Udemark here as well, filling in for JMV. All right, outside of the Game 7s that we saw yesterday and the Western and Eastern Conferences finals being settled, getting ready to get underway tomorrow night, we saw Frank Vogel, the new coach of the Los Angeles Lakers, with Jason Kidd. What I said was the coach in waiting when LeBron gets sick of Vogel by November. Your initial thoughts knowing that the former Indiana Pacer coach will be the head man for the Lakers?
You know what? I have stared at the Adrian Wojnarowski Twitter account twice in the last 48 hours for like 30 seconds, making sure I wasn't getting duped or it wasn't a fake account. One was for John Beeline earlier today.
Yes.
And then the other one was for the Frank Vogel news. Obviously less of a shock about Vogel because he is a qualified NBA coach, more than qualified. But just the fit in LA is a major head scratcher. You know, to me, how the Lakers have handled this process is pretty Lakers-esque, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that you aren't willing to give Ty Lue a 5-year deal. Like, if you like the coach that much, just give him a 5-year deal.
Yeah.
You can fire him.
Exactly.
And you have enough money to be able to handle any sort of buyout that, you know, is necessary. So I didn't agree with that. And then just forcing Jason Kidd on Frank Vogel, I think, is a horrible situation for Frank. I feel bad for him because I thought, honestly, I thought he got a raw deal and how the Pacers and Larry Bird handled the end of his tenure here a few years ago, and then I just don't feel like he was ever dealt a great hand in Orlando as well. But I honestly think most of his success in LA is more dependent on what the roster looks like. Like they have to construct a much better situation around LeBron than what they did last year, because I thought that ultimately, along with the injury, was the downfall to their season.
Lance is pretty happy though, right? Gets his boy back, gets Frank Vogel.
Didn't even think about that. Yeah. Are they boys?
You would, I mean, he was here, right, when they brought in Lance and all that stuff was going down.
Lance had so many highs and lows. It's hard for me to.
You're exactly right, and there's so much free agency. People think that maybe Kawhi ends up as a Laker or a Clipper. If I'm Kawhi, he seems to be pretty passionate and very involved and engaged with what he's doing in Toronto. So for me in that free agency, but maybe you go get a Klay Thompson. Maybe you make a run at a Chris Middleton who's a restricted free agent. Maybe somebody along those lines that could come in and win. I know we talked about this, and we'll probably beat the dead horse and continue to do so, but realistic targets for the Pacers in free agency, because just based on track records, they're going to end up with a guy like Harrison Barnes and say, oh, yeah, he's 30, but we still feel like there's tread on the tires and he can come in and fill a void. Are you okay with going out and getting two guys that could fill in that void for Vic, or does it have to be one guy that, as JMV says, is equal to, if not better, than what Victor Oladipo provides?
I think early on, Tony, you have to shoot for that one guy. I think that's what you're going to get a clear picture. Like by July 1, you're going to know full well what the lay of the land looks like, and your realistic hopes of trying to get insert whatever, Jimmy Butler, Klay Thompson,
Tobias
whoever,
Harris.
Tobias Harris, Kemba Walker. Is Kemba in that group? I would probably slot him into that group in terms of what you would have to pay him. I've been trying to concentrate a little bit more on what's the second tier group look like in the two areas the Pacers want to get better in. And that's 3-point shooting, and that's improving their pace. Some of these point guards, it's not a deep group. Yes, we obviously mentioned Walker. There's a D'Angelo Russell rumblings, I guess, but he's a restricted free agent, so how does that play out? We saw last year. It seemed like this time last year, the big restricted name was Aaron Gordon, and ultimately the Magic brought him back. There are a lot of second-tier, third-tier guys, in terms of an Elfrid Payton, Ish Smith. I mean, these are guys that would up your pace, but again, they are nowhere near some of that upper echelon. And then when you get into shooters, like you said, it's a Terrence Ross, it's a Danny Green. Is J.J. Redick, has he had enough in Philly? We know he almost came here last year.
He's at the 5-yard line.
I don't know. So I think those are some of the names that I'm starting to shift my attention more towards. But I think if you're Kevin Pritchard, you
swing for the fences.
Yes, and he has mentioned this. This is the offseason of you got to be flexible and you got to be ready to go plan B, C, D, E. Like you have to have all that on your board, and you swing for those fences. And then probably the more realistic pitch you're going to hit is something that looks more like your D or E option.
And this is something that's been in the works for over a year and a half. They talked about, going into last offseason, we are setting ourselves up financially for next year where we feel like there's more assets out there that we can get. You mentioned pace, and the Pacers are going to have to pick up their pace. How much does that mean Nate McMillan has to change his coaching style?
Definitely. He has to, and I know he mentioned a lot even during the season. I felt like that was one of kind of his calling cards when the team was struggling on the offensive end of the floor. He would say, got to play with more pace. We got to establish the tempo, things like that. To me, what's more interesting and how I think is going to deviate a little bit in what he wants his playing style to look like, he wants them to shoot more threes. And that, to us, it's like, well, duh, like that's how the NBA is kind of evolving.
Yeah.
But to Nate McMillan, that's a huge, huge change from what he has been used to, kind of having his philosophical approach to coaching basketball. This is a team that shot the three pretty well last year. I think they were top 5 in percentage, but I want to say I think it was second to last in the NBA in attempts. So that's something that he wants to change. And of course, I think a lot of it, yes, style is a big part of it, but it's also just what your personnel looks like. And Darren Collison and Corey Joseph aren't guys that I think, play. Collison maybe 5 or 6 years ago, but I just don't think those are guys that play with an incredible amount of pace compared to some other guards in the league. But that's where a guy like Aaron Holiday does factor in, because I think he does play with some more pace that Nate McMillan likes.
Do you think the Pacers are willing to give up a little bit of, I guess, in numbers, a little bit of defense to push the tempo and have more offense? We know that they've preached defense with Coach Burke as one of their assistants, and he's a defensive guy. And I mean, look, scoring 105 points a game is not going to win you a lot of NBA games anymore. You have to push that tempo. I think 111, 112 is realistic. Yeah, you're going to give up more on the defensive end, but that's that's just the way that the NBA is tuning to, knowing that there's a lot of centers out there that can hit threes. I mean, when Brook Lopez is averaging 4 3-point shot attempts a game, that kind of shows you where the NBA is right now. So are they willing to give up a little bit on the defensive end to hopefully make that up on the offensive end?
I think they are, and I think it was a bit of a look in the mirror sort of offseason. And I would say mostly from how the playoffs have looked even so far here over the past month. Mm-hmm. It's something to where you see how the NBA game is called. I mean, it is a huge advantage to an offensive player right now, and, whatever, freedom of movement and insert, phrase that NBA refs and just league in general want to throw out there. Mm-hmm. It is an offensive-minded league, and you look at the teams that are left in the playoffs, they are teams that get up and down and certainly score at a very, very high level. So I think you have to make that sacrifice. Yes, that probably means you are going to not be the same sort of top 5 defensive team in the NBA, but you would like to think if the Miles Turner we saw as a rim protector this past year continues to put on a little bit more weight and he can be that for you moving forward, it's okay. Can you put enough guys on the other end of the floor that can make you be one of the better offensive teams in this league?
Kevin Bowen, Tony Donahue filling in today on the ride with JMV. Plenty more of NBA playoff Pacers conversation. We're going to talk a little bit of Colts as well, but coming up after this, a guy who's chomping at the bits to put the helmet on and put the visor down. Connor Daly will join us. We'll be back right after this. FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Be sure to check out the Fan's Instagram page this week for your chance to win tickets to the fastest rookie luncheon on behalf of the American Dairy Association of Indiana. Details 1070thefan.com.
Hey, it's JMV for Indiana's Best. It is Andy Moore Toyota in Avon. For a limited time, pop in because they've got 0% financing on select cars. Oh, wait a minute. First things first, here's what I want you to do. Log on AndyMooreToyota.com and then find out exactly what you're looking for, and then pop in and talk to Ben Mendoza or talk to Robert or talk to Scott or anybody that can help you over there, because everybody can, about the vehicle that you want. And then watch them go to work for you. The car buying experience at its best. And for a limited time on select vehicles, 0% financing at Indiana's Best. To get online, AndyMooreToyota.com today and tell them that I sent you. From the 4Runner to the RAV4 to the Highlander, we're all talking the greatest in SUVs. Check it out. Indiana's Best, Andy Moore Toyota. It is in Avon. It's 5 miles west of 465 on US 36. Tell them JMV sent you.
Hey, it's Kyle Knezovich for Body Sculpt RX. The Shape Reclaimed and Cool Sculpting program under the medical supervision of Maria helped me lose 30 pounds. I'm telling you, in my adult life, I've never felt better. My transformation took only 4 months, and now you can see the results for yourself with my before and after photos at bodysculptrx.com or their Facebook page. As the premier and only med spa serving the Noblesville and Westfield areas, Body Sculpt RX can help you reclaim your shape too. Tell them Dan Dockich and producer Kyle sent you. BodySculptRx.com.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Baptist Heating and Air.
For heating and air and cleanings and maintenance and all of the repairs you need.
You just need to make one call for the people who do it all. Don't sweat in the summer heat. Call the people you need to meet.
Helping people to be comfortable.
Baptist Heating and Air, 317-782-1900. American Standard Heating and Air is built to a higher standard. See IndyHomeComfort.com for great set to standard spring rebates.
Don't put up with a cranky old water heater. Time to get a new one and get happy. I'm Corey Kreitzberger, General Manager of Benjamin Franklin Plumbing. Replace your water heater with us and enjoy 24/7 service, local, licensed plumbers, and 100% satisfaction, guaranteed. Plus, we'll give you a free 10-year warranty upgrade. That'll make you happy.
Go with the flow, the local pros. Call Benjamin Franklin Plumbing.
Terms, conditions, and tax may apply. License CP 101-00018.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. I warned everyone 4 months ago that this year the purchase market would be fierce. Homes are selling quickly, and we are pre-approving more folks than ever before. If you're going to get into the home that you want, you need to be working with the right lender. We can get you pre-approved in 5 minutes with a lower rate and close on your new home in as little as 14 days. The 5-minute loan approval only available at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Hey, it's JMV, and cutting season 2019 is here. Are you ready? Paul and the gang at the Mower Shop in Fishers have you covered. Toro, Zero Turns, Honda push mowers, Hustlers, the Spartan lawnmower, which is so awesome. You can go ahead and check out what they have to offer at themowershop.com. You buy it there, they will deliver it directly to your door. And they're also the place for all your parts and supplies. That's themowershop.com or 849-9500. Tell Paul I sent you. Themowershop.com. Now,
because Hoosier race car driver Brian Clausen said yes to organ donation, he saved a U.S. veteran, a father, a farmer, a mother, a volunteer, and so many more. Today, there are 114,000 people on the National Transplant Waiting List, and each day, 20 will die because the life-saving organ they needed didn't come in time. Be a hero. Save a life. Register your donation decision today at driventosavelives.org.
No other car dealer in the world does the month of May like Penske Chevrolet. The captain, Roger Penske, is still celebrating last year's win with Will Power, his 17th at Indy, and he wants you to have some of the spoils. You can race to savings right now at 96th and Keystone and take home a brand new ride to celebrate the greatest spectacle in racing. How about a sign and drive lease on a 2019 Equinox? There's no down payment, and it's just $239 a month for 36 months at 10,000 miles a year on this roomy compact crossover with seating for 5. You can fit Joseph Newgarden, Simon Pagenaud, Will Power, and Roger in your car and still have plenty of room for a cooler and snacks. Lease a Silverado LD for just $199 a month. Jason Brett have all the details on how little you need to bring to the table on this winning deal. In all remaining 2018s, cars, trucks, crossovers, and utilities are over $10,000 off, or take advantage of 0% financing for 72 months. You can't beat the deals when you race the savings at Penske Chevrolet, 96th and Keystone, and online at PenskeChevyIndy.com. Chevy, find new roads.
You know those big concrete trucks we see driving all around town? I've dreamed of driving one of those ever since I was a kid.
Oh, really? Did you know that the ready-mix concrete industry is currently hiring for over 100 drivers throughout the state? You might be able to make that dream a reality.
You don't say. How do I get more information on driving a mixer truck?
Easy. Just visit careersinconcrete.org, choose a producer in your area, and apply.
Thanks. I'm going to apply right now.
Join the ready-mix concrete industry today. Visit careersinconcrete.org for more information.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Buy one, get one wiper blade free, free flat repair and spring safety check. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Your home for the 2019 NBA playoffs. FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Nachos, lemon heads, my dad's boat. You won't go down cause
on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Hey, welcome back. Beautiful day on the circle. FM 107.5, 1070. The Fan, Tony Donahue filling in for JMV with Kevin Bowen. Let's go to the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. He's ready to strap in tomorrow. Practice underway. Refresher rookies will be out there as well as veterans. Our friend, driver of the Andretti Autosport Air Force Honda, is Connor Daly. Connor, welcome to the show. Let's talk about Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
All right, let's talk about over the weekend. Kind of get you antsy, I guess, to get into the car. But you had a pretty nice weekend. You got to meet some people. Talk about your impressions of the Indy Grand Prix.
I thought it was a tremendous race, honestly, and especially to start out our network NBC relationship. I thought that was really cool. A lot of whenever there's moisture coming down, that always creates a really interesting environment, different strategies. Obviously, we saw some cars up at the front there at the end that normally aren't there. But you definitely have to say that Jack Harvey was there all weekend. So he was very, very deserving of that podium. Super happy for him. Great dude, great team. Mike Shank, an incredible human. I thought it was a great race overall. It was tough for the Andretti guys, I will say. I mean, I think that was I don't know what was what exactly was the issue there, but I'm sure they've learned from it now. And honestly, every single driver in our team was just pretty pumped to move on to the big race.
Speaking of that big race, Connor, the next, 4 days, starting Tuesday, practice out there on the oval, and then, of course, qualifying Saturday and Sunday. Where's the balance for you entering this week on how you approach the next 4 or 5 days of, okay, this amount of time is spent on race trim and this amount of time is spent strictly on we got to get that car in the field?
Well, I'm currently at the Indianapolis International Airport looking at an F-16 fighter jet and a U.S. Air Force IndyCar show car right next to each other on a runway. So there's that part of the week that's happening, which is pretty cool. But honestly, I mean, for us, we are focusing a lot on qualifying speed tomorrow already, seeing how fast we can, make the car go, starting to step through some things to see what we got. But obviously race running is super important as well for us. So qualifying is going to be really interesting. I think we'll know pretty quickly by the end of, day one what the speed levels of each car sort of look like. So we know whether we need to be worrying about qualifying more or the race. So we'll certainly see by the end of tomorrow.
Connor Daly with us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group Hotline. What are you looking forward to most with this All-American team at Andretti? You obviously have some teammates that you know very well. There's a lot of information to be shared. Or it's just simply showing what you can do for really the first time in a car that you can qualify up front and get real racy with.
Well, I mean, it's just relying on everyone for the amount of information coming in. I mean, we've already, gone through an extensive test, plan and sort of what our week looks like. And it's an incredible amount of information and it's an incredible amount of things to get through. But, such is the things that you have to do to, try and compete for a win. You got to go get, test everything you possibly can. You got to get the car to be as well sorted as possible come race day, and obviously also for qualifying weekend. But I'm just excited about it. I mean, to have the amount of resources that we've got, to have the level of detail that this team is going through, to make sure everything is going to be, as perfect as possible, is incredible. And you just know it's a special opportunity. So you just got to make sure every lap you do is a good one.
Connor, would you say it's the most confident you've been entering a 500 in your, young tenure?
Oh, yeah, 150%. Just confident and just happy, more excited, really. That's nice. It's nice to feel that way.
Connor Daly with us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group Hotline. Big month, as we know. Things are kind of getting ramped up. Kick-started with practice tomorrow. Talk about this partnership with the Air Force. It fits you perfectly because you've always carried that American flag banner, and what maybe some people don't know, all over this globe. I mean, everywhere you went, it's all about the American feel because that's what you are. How does this work? How does this fit? It seems to just be perfect for you.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, I love that, this is year 2 of the relationship, the fact that they've shown faith in me. After the sort of, the grit that we had to show last year, trying to, make some things work that weren't necessarily the most ideal situation. But here we are now in the best possible situation. So, it's, their hashtag is aim high, and we're certainly aiming as high as we possibly can for this month, to try and win a race. And obviously cement, more of a permanent future, hopefully, with this team and in this sport, because I have a lot that I really want to do in this sport, and I do have faith in this group of people around me. So I'm excited to just take advantage of every day and see what happens. But your year can obviously go one of 2 ways after the month of May. So we hope that it goes obviously the right direction.
Connor Daly on his way up to the shop in Broad Ripple coming up this afternoon. He's got an autograph session from 5 until 6. Hey, best of luck. Appreciate you spending some time on such a busy day, and go get him out there tomorrow and this weekend.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Connor.
Connor Daly there on the Andy Moore Automotive Group Hotline. And like you said, there is a familiarity he has with his team, which, sometimes you go in and you don't know. You don't have a chemistry with your engineer. You don't have a chemistry with your spotter, some of the crew. Last year with Dale Coyne Racing, he was towards the back. He had a teammate in Sebastian Bourdais that I don't think was sharing as much information as he could have been. But to have Alexander Rossi, who he's friends with, was roommates with him, I expect big things out of Connor Daly. He's got the talent. He hasn't really been able to prove it as much because he hasn't had the chance to. But we saw what he's done in some, I guess, back-tier equipment, so to speak, for lack of a better term. But interesting to see what Connor Daly can do coming up throughout the rest of the 2 weeks of May.
And correct me if I'm wrong, 35 entries right now, and 36 will be announced later?
Yeah,
or
so,
the official announcement, I guess, will be announced later.
So 36 total, we know. 35 as of right now with the driver combination. I do believe it's going to be Oriol Servia. I was told that a few months ago. I don't know if they're waiting for a check to clear what's going on, but they're supposed to be unveiling that, if not today, maybe tomorrow, who that driver is, because tomorrow's rookie. I think you have a veteran practice and it's rookie and refresher, and then everybody gets back out there in the afternoon. I'll be out there all week long at Tony D.
So we're bumping at least two, probably three.
Gonna be three. Yeah, I think it's gonna be three. And you can take your pick on who you think those three will be. But again, a year ago we would have never expected it to be James Hinchcliffe,
right?
And that's just kind of way that it went. So we'll see what happens. We've got qualifying coverage all day Saturday. We'll be with you. I'll be out there. We got IMS Radio Network coverage as well, and it's going to be an exciting weekend as we lead up to the 103rd running of the Indianapolis 500. Tony Donahue, Kevin Bowen, filling in for JMV here on a beautiful but cold Monday afternoon. Brooke Olzendam from the Portland Trailblazers TV radio network or TV coverage will join us. She's going to probably dive into what we just talked about as far as this is just a team and a team effort that got them there. She's been traveling with the Blazers as well. We'll be back right after this, FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
There's never an excuse for missing anything on The Fan. 1070 The Fan on connected devices and smart speakers. 1070thefan.com. 1070 The Fan app on iTunes and the Google Play Store. For a full list, go to 1070thefan.com/listen. Plus, you can listen to all the shows by subscribing to the podcast. Take us anywhere and everywhere you go. FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. Your home for Indy sports.
Maybe you haven't pulled the trigger on a refinance because you don't want to start over with 30 years. You want an 18 or 27-year loan? No problem. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
Hey, it's JMV. Did you know that May is National 529 College Savings Plan Month? Farm Credit Union is celebrating by reminding parents about the Sprout College Matching Account. It's the perfect complement to a 529 college savings plan. This account pays a competitive dividend rate, plus matches deposited funds up to $100 every year. It is fantastic. Stop by any Forum Credit Union branch location today, or for more info online, forumcu.com.
Hey, it's Dan Doggett here for Steffi Hadaway Insurance. Did you know that life insurance is the best way to give tax-free money to family and friends? It's the best way to give it to your favorite charities, nonprofit organizations, or your high school or college alma mater. Don't put off buying life insurance protection for another day. Give Mike Steffi and his team at Steffi Hadaway Insurance a call, 317-334-3743 today, or shiagency.com, and tell them Dan Dockett sent you.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
An effective defense often hinges on sophisticated strategies relating to income tax projections, business valuations, spousal support claims. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 317-322-0122, or visit online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Indianapolis. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana 46204.
Are you looking to keep cool this summer and have fun with your family and friends? Call Royal Pin Leisure Centers at 465-8484 to join a summer team today. Call Royal Pin Leisure Centers at 465-8484 to join a summer team today. Summer bowling is always free when you join a team. Summer leagues are fun, inexpensive, and last only a short time. And kids, you can join our youth bowling program, where no one sits on the bench. If you're going to bowl this summer, bowl at a Royal Pin Leisure Center. Call 465-8484 or go to royalpin.com to make your team reservation today. Join a summer team at Royal Penn and have the time of your life bowling.
Set 'em up, knock 'em down, send them flying, spinning round.
Call 465-8484 or go to royalpen.com.
Royal Penn bowling, bowling. Royal Penn.
Hi, I'm Chuck Jones with Bill Estes Chevrolet.
And I'm Tony Canon.
It's May in Indy, and that means it's time to rev up the savings. Tony, you always like your chances here in Indy, right?
Yes, Indy's like home to me.
Well, to show our support for you, we are having our 22% off sale. That's right, up to 22% off new Chevys during the month of May.
Chuck, did you know it's my 22nd year in racing?
Even better, 22% off Chevys to celebrate. So find new roads to Bill Estes Chevrolet or online anytime at BillEstesChevy.com.
Dan Doggett here for Family Leisure. It's the great outdoors sale. You know how much I love my pool. Get yours this year from $34,999 installed basketball hoops, from $999 installed barbecue islands, pergolas, fire pits, fireplaces, and so much more. On sale now. Tell them I sent you and get a free gift with a purchase. Buy a patio set, get a free umbrella. Buy a grill, get free accessories. You get the drill. The great outdoor sales is on at Family Leisure. Go to familyleisure.com or Penland Pike, Oak Landing Road.
Well, family and fun come together. My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
It's Big Joe. Right now, for every window you buy, you get the next one free. No limits and 0% financing for 36 months. Call 317-659-8191 or go to universalwindowsdirect.com. And like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
The marina is open, so book your staycation today at Four Winds Lakeside in M Marina, 3 nights for just $249. FourWindsLakeside.com.
This is Indy Sports Center. WFNI, WIBC, HD2, W298BV, W228CX, Indianapolis. Time trials for the 103rd running of the Indianapolis 500. Coverage Saturday morning at 10. On FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Hey, my buddy, Swanson, full steam ahead, over there. I want to go over there. I'll move over, Swanson, I'm driving.
On FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
What is this Aerosmith crap that keeps being played? I'm going to have to pull out John's Spotify that I have access to and start playing Back That Ass Up over this. What are we doing? Come on, Kyle. Kyle Udemark's over there. Kevin Bowen, Tony Donahue filling in today for JMV, who had a little dental work done. Let's head to the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. A career weekend for our good friend Jack Harvey at Jack_Harvey42. Qualifies third, finishes third with the Meyer Shank Racing Team. Jack, what a weekend for you. First and foremost, congratulations. About 48 hours removed from it. Thinking back, you got to be pretty excited of the momentum that you built Friday and Saturday to take that towards oval practice starting tomorrow.
Yeah, guys, we're super excited. That was a massive result for me personally. You know, first IndyCar podium, first podium for Arrow Schmidt Peterson this year, and first series podium for Meyer Shank Racing. So one of those weekends felt like a lot of firsts that we ticked off the list. And I mean, honestly, we can't wait to get onto the track tomorrow. Before the weekend, we said it'd be great momentum. Now we want to turn that into something.
Jack, they're interviewing your owner, Michael Shank, during the race, and he's like, yeah, you know, Jack's never ran an IndyCar in rain, so we'll see how that goes. And I was like, wow, that's quite the comment. It clearly went pretty well. So how was it for you in the rain?
Yes. I mean, the thing that always makes me laugh is, you know, we've had opportunities to go out and, you know, you go to a cold test at the start of the year, it starts to drizzle, and, you know, everybody almost immediately just puts the car in the trailer and goes home. And, you know, suddenly we're at the front of one of the, the front of the race, and like, oh, actually, I haven't driven this car in the rain ever, actually. So I think I had to think about experience, you know, from when I raced in the UK, and, you know, as a Brit, I know a thing or two about rain and, you know, bad weather and stuff like that. The difference between weather in the UK to Indiana is the UK is a little more predictable. It's just consistently not very nice. Where your weather here is so random, the back throw is kind of a curveball, but I think Scott was absolutely flying on those first, 4 laps. I think that obviously his experience helped him out a little bit there. And then Simon Pagenaud just was flying all
all afternoon. And I think that the nice thing for us, and this is what we've chatted about as a team kind of after the event, was they were some really tricky conditions. You know, we were quick in the dry, we were quick in the rain. You know, it wasn't gifted, it wasn't a random strategy or anything like that. Like, you know, we executed a really great race, and you know, I'm extremely grateful to both sets of the teams to be able to have that opportunity.
Jack Harvey joins us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. I know you're a big soccer fan. A pretty good weekend for you as a whole. We know the result, but I think soccer went your way this weekend too, did it not?
It didn't. I'm quite a big Liverpool fan. So, I mean, they won, but then obviously City won as well and beat them by a single point. So the Premiership win is still eluding Liverpool at the minute. But, side news, my hometown actually got promoted this season just gone. So it's been a pretty good 2019 so far.
Jack, I want to go back to the first lap on Saturday, and we've seen obviously a lot of history in that first turn on the road course. And, you know, to me, I'm thinking to myself, watching you, you know, you want the result, but then watching you went after it into that first turn. Kind of walk me through what your line of thinking or what your game plan was, you know, on that first lap.
Well, you know, the thing that we all have to, you know, still be aware of is we are only a part-time entrant. You know, our schedule slows down quite a lot after Indy. So we're not trying to impede or mess with anybody ever who's running the full season. That being said, if the opportunity is there to get good results, then we're going to go for it. And, you know, the goal was to basically try and go as far forward as possible at the start. You know, I had a great initial launch, was like right on Felix's tail over the start-finish line. And honestly, just went to try and make the move on him. So, you know, pulled out, and then, like you said, it's such a balance at that point because we're not trying to jeopardize anything. You know, it's come out the first corner in, say, third. You know, it's still a great result, but which we wanted more. So it was trying to balance that, being assertive and aggressive, knowing that Indy turn 1 and 2 can be sometimes a, you know, difficult set of corners to get through at the start. And I mean, I respect Felix a lot from, you know, the racing that we've done in Europe together. You know, and I mean, Scott Dixon doesn't need any introduction to anybody, especially around here. So, you know, I felt like we were in pretty safe hands just to, you know, really get after it together without having any accidents or anything. But I thought the nice thing about that as well, it was kind of a good statement of intent, hopefully, that, you know, we try and be respectful to everybody, but if the opportunity's there, we're going to take it.
Jack, let me ask you this, and maybe it's been discussed and maybe it hasn't, but with double points for the Indianapolis 500 and knowing that you're only running 10 races, you finished all 5 races so far, you have 3 top 10s. Is there a chance with another great run in Indy and double points? I mean, you're already ahead of a lot of full-time drivers. Are the resources there to maybe run the full season?
Oh, I got that question a lot this weekend. Mm-hmm. It's probably more one for Michael Shank and Jim Meyer, you know, the owners of our.
We know you'd race them.
Car. I'm available every weekend if I'm needed. I keep telling them that. If they want to go straight to Detroit, I'm not got any plans. You know, I'd love to do it. You know, they all know that, and you know, I know they'd like to. I mean, honestly, though, that being said, you never know. A great month, and you know, double points at Indy if the race goes well. If we are inside the top 10, I mean, it definitely the question is going to be asked. You know, there's no doubt about that, and I guess the only thing for me is, you know, the big goal is to try and be in a full-time drive for 2020. So if we can add something to this year, that would be great. I just hope it doesn't come at the expense of anything that might follow it. So the way I look at it and the way I try and approach it is I want to be as big of a headache for them in a good way as possible, so that we really have to sit down and talk it through and, you know, figure out what the best plan is. So that's kind of my goal, is to deliver such good performances on track that they have to really sit down and think about it.
Jack Harvey with us. He had a great weekend, a career-high finish of 3rd at the IndyCar Grand Prix at Jack_Harvey42 on Twitter. He'll get his refresher tomorrow and back at it on the Oval as they prepare for the 103rd running of the Indianapolis 500. Jack, congratulations on a big weekend for you and the team, and good luck. We'll continue to be in touch throughout the month, but good luck throughout this week in qualifying and in the Indianapolis 500 next week.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me, guys. Appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks, Jack. Awesome conversation there with Jack Harvey. And it's always good to see, it just shows that we talk about this so many different times, just the way that the competitive nature of the series is from top to bottom. Anybody has a chance, especially on road course, especially when it rains. I talked to Scott Dixon about this. I talked to a lot of the veteran drivers who have been around for a while, Tony Kanaan last week, and they said this is the most competitive field we've ever been a part of, not just in IndyCar, but in any series we've ever ran it.
I mean, you look at the results from Saturday. I mean, obviously you have Dixon and Pagano, two of the best in the series, finishing 1-2, and then right there 3-4. You have guys like, especially Harvey's case, he needed that more than anything, and then compared to what AJ Foyt Racing has done here in the past year or so, they really needed that for different reasons, and Matthias Lace got that out of finishing fourth.
And it's really good to see some of the drivers like Jack Harvey, Spencer Pigot, Ed Jones, Matthias Lace, as you mentioned. These are the drivers over the last 5, 6, 7 years were the hot names in the Indy Lights series, and being able to have them move up and have some success, I think, is huge for the series as a whole. Switching gears, so to speak, speaking of success, talking all things Portland Trail Blazers with our good friend Brooke Olzendam, who joins us right now on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. You've made it to Oakland. What a Game 7 for the Trailblazers yesterday in Denver.
Well, hi, Tony. Can
Hi.
we just say hello?
Hello, Brooke. Great to hear from you. I miss you.
Goodness. Thank you. I appreciate that. I miss you too. No, Game 7 was unbelievable. Mostly because the first 3 quarters were essentially all Denver. And didn't feel great about it for a long time. Kind of resembled a little bit of Game 5, which was not a good outcome. So I'm not sure how that was going to go. But as long as they kept it to single digits, I felt like there was a chance that, Dame had 7 points at halftime, which is unheard of, especially in this postseason. So we thought he might go off in the second half, and that was kind of what we were hanging our hat on. But interestingly enough, he didn't have one of those nights where he was a scoring machine, which we've seen. He almost had a triple-double, a quiet triple-double. He shared the ball when he saw that he was getting absolutely double-teamed, triple-teamed at times. And so it really freed up C.J. McCollum to have a monster night. So I would say that C.J., and I think I'm not alone in saying it, that he won that game for the Blazers. So it was insane. It was crazy. It was in Denver, which that is it's a series that started off with everyone saying, "Oh, it's not 2 nice guy teams liking each other." I've talked about this a lot, and they really respect each other. Blah blah blah. It's going to be like one of those things where whoever wins, we're going to support you. And then like Game 2, something turned and it became a little more hostile, and there were some skirmishes and things like that. So it was very physical. It was an intense game, and I still am reeling over it. It was crazy. So I'm happy for the guys that they've been through a lot this season. So to get to this point is quite a feat.
Brooke, Kevin Bowen here. Just kind of take me into the environment yesterday afternoon when it's a Game 7 on the road, and like you said, your star player isn't providing that scoring punch like he usually does. Mm-hmm. It's not a good first 2 or 3 quarters, and yet you win a Game 7 on the road. As someone who covers a team like that, or as an athlete, I can't think of maybe a better environment to win a game.
For sure, the environment was crazy. It was because like a Game 7 is a Game 7, so it's going to be an intense atmosphere for sure. And on the road, it's just tough to win on the road in general in the regular season. So in the postseason in Game 7, that's crazy to pull that one out. But yeah, you mentioned like your star player is not scoring like you've seen him do in the playoffs. So that was, I wouldn't say concerning. It was just like, okay, so where do we go from here? He's obviously having a tough night. He can't get the looks he wants. He can't, provide for himself in terms of offense. So it was something where else is it going to come from? So the atmosphere was intense. I will say though that, like I mentioned earlier, this team has been through a lot, and whether it's an injury or something that happened to the team or a coach, we've had a lot of things happen, especially like in the last 2 months. So they kind of empower each other. And so Dame started looking for CJ, who obviously had the hot hand. And so it was one of those things where the atmosphere was intense. The fans were, I don't know what it is about fans in Denver. Maybe it's the altitude, but they are feisty.
It's the weed.
I mean, there was a guy behind me. Luckily I had a great seat where I was near the floor. I was on the floor. even though we're not doing the broadcast. So I was grateful for that. But on the other side of that, I was really close to all the fans, which there were a ton of Blazers fans. They showed up. They flew in. I mean, I'm not joking. I think in the corner, there was about 300 of them before the game started. I went over and said hello to them. They showed up. But Denver fans were getting after it, yelling at Ennis. That I think he became the villain. Ennis Cantor became the villain for sure for them. And so there's this guy behind me that was very vocal. And at one point, so there was about 6 Blazers fans in the front row. They got seats right behind the bench. They flew in, and I don't even know what they paid for them, but they got great seats. And then behind me was this guy, the Denver fan, who was going back and forth with them the whole night, or day. I'm used to saying night, during the day. And one of them was like, when they started doing Lillard time, because Lillard hit a great 3 after he had a nice defensive play, and then hit a 3 that was a big one. One of his, only 13 points, but it was a big shot. And the Denver fan was like, why does he keep hitting his watch? Does he not know how to figure out time? Does he not know what time it is? I'll tell you what time it is. And then the Blazers fan was like, all I know is I have reservations at 5, and we're going to make it. And then the other guy's, where are you going, McDonald's? Because he was kind of a larger fellow. And then he came back with, no, Ruth Chris. And then the guy was like, what are you going to get? He's like, I'm going to get chicken. The chicken's terrible. And they were literally fighting about what he was going to order at Ruth Chris. It was insane. It was very entertaining for me. But yes, I would say that it was intense. Fans were not letting they were giving it to Blazers all night. So it was a game 7. That's what it is. That's what playoffs are like.
She's a courtside reporter for the Portland Trail Blazers. Used to be here in Indianapolis with the Pacers. Brooke Oldendam joining us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. Take me into the locker room. Damian Lillard is one of my favorite players. You and I text back and forth throughout the season how much I love him and C.J. McCollum.
Yes.
But he is kind of uplifting these guys. Zach Collins has started to come into his own. We saw Evan Turner step up yesterday after Rodney Hood went down. We even saw Myers Leonard step in when they needed to. Al Farouk Amino. These were, Kevin Bowen mentioned earlier, these are just guys that were kind of written off from other teams. Is Dame Lillard that glue in that locker room that uplifts everybody to bring them to a new level in their game?
Yes, you just completely nailed it, 1,000%. That is why, like, we kind of joke. I wouldn't say joke, but we talk about how other players from other teams are like, you mentioned Ennis. He's with the Knicks, who are going through an interesting time, and they let him go, honestly, as a favor to him. And he remembered that the Blazers were after him 4 years ago, and gave him the max. And then he remembered just the faith they had in him. So he's like, I want to come back. I want to come to the Blazers over the Lakers. I'm definitely sure he's happy about that decision. And then you got Rodney, who has been in a couple weird situations, but he's got the talent. And you bring these guys in, and we say, like, we the Blazers bring in people that have been discarded. And I will give a lot of credit to Damian Lillard for being the leader that helps them find their roles, but I give our coaching staff that same amount of credit. Terry Stotts is a coach that figures out ways to utilize his players and get the maximum out of them. And a great example is when Mason Plumlee was with our team, and he brought the most out of him, and then now he's in Denver, and not to say he's not being utilized correctly there, I'm not saying that, but just guys that you're just not sure how they fit in or where they're supposed to be or how they're supposed to produce or how they're supposed to get their shots. They come into this system with Terry Stotts, and he figures out ways to bring out the best in them. And then you bring in Damian Lillard, who, in my opinion, and you guys, I get it, people are like, you're biased, and I am probably, but Damian, in my opinion, is one of the best leaders in all of sports, because he has different relationships with different guys, like the way that he kind of figures out how to get the most out of them, and he supports them, empowers them, and he does it not necessarily like vocally, like he's a guy that goes out there and just kind of does it on the floor and speaks to them when he needs to, but he's never one that is a leader that it's like, you do this, you do that, and tells them what to do. It's not like that. He's a leader in a way that kind of supports them and says, how can I make you better? And a perfect example of that is last night when he couldn't get his shot. He just couldn't even get looks. And he said, okay, I'm going to pass the ball. I'm going to rebound. I'm going to do things differently so I can at least help this team, but I can't help them score right now. So he's a fantastic leader, and he brings the most out of guys. And that's it's kind of fun to watch these new guys come in. And Seth Curry, he was out last year with injury. A lot of teams don't want to take, a risk on that. And he's come in and he's been a great contributor off the bench. And it's just the way that this team chooses to empower these guys and utilize them in the right way. So it's kind of like where guys that are not sure where their career is going, they come to Portland, and it's always a positive.
Brooke, as Tony mentioned, you are in Oakland, a pretty quick turnaround for the Western Conference Finals. And maybe a team that's playing with a bit of house money. Given the Kevin Durant injury situation, what are some keys for Portland to make this series really, really interesting and possibly shock, I think, a lot of people?
Well, the Blazers. I have this tendency. Whenever team I'm on, I say we. I know people get annoyed by that. The Blazers. I'll work on that. Sorry. The Blazers have continued to shock people. 19 out of 20 ESPN writers picked Oklahoma City in round one. 19 out of 20. And I'll say the only one that picked the Blazers was Nick DiPaola, who is from Oregon. So I don't know if that has something to do with it. But and then again, come with Denver. Denver's a very good team, very quality team. They're going to be great for years to come. So I understand why maybe if a lot of people picked Denver, but it's just been that everything has been against the Blazers from day one, and that's kind of how they've been for a while. That's the chip on their shoulder, kind of a small market. I would say they're similar to Indiana in that way, that it's sometimes overlooked. And so it's one of those things where they're coming into this series again underdogs, and that's nothing new. So I think that with the Kevin Durant situation, let's not forget this is a team that won many championships without Kevin Durant. So they're still very talented. They still have Seth Curry. They still have Clay. They have a lot of talent on that team. A great coach. So I think that it's funny when I say an X factor is Damian Lillard, because that sounds silly because he is the best player on the Blazers team. But I think being in Oakland, he always wants to step up his game. He's from Oakland. I'm very proud of that. And he's got a lot of – it's funny, whenever we're here, even during the regular season, I'll have Warriors fans come up and say, I hope we kick your, whatever tonight. You kick your butt. But I love Dame. But I love Dame. But I love him. So they all are fans of Damian Lillard, but they still, of course, are Warriors fans. But there's this extra energy that when we're playing the Warriors that Damian brings. So I think that he's going to have some big games. I don't necessarily think he's going to have a 13-point game, and CJ is going to always be there to come up with 37 points. That would be great. I don't know if that is something that you can count on. So I think that Dame and CJ both have to have big games. But I also have a lot of faith in that second unit. Rodney Hood, it came out as he's questionable now for game one. He hyperextended his left knee yesterday. So that's good news because it looked worse than I think it actually is. So if the second unit can bring what we've seen in the postseason against the Warriors second unit, I think that will be key. And I mean that with Zach Collins as well, who you mentioned, got a lot of minutes. He's 21 years old. He's a kid. So he's been taking that opportunity to really take advantage of the minutes he's been given. So the second unit playing to the highest level they can will be huge. But, the matchup is not – I like the matchup against the Warriors. People think I'm crazy when I say that. But for some reason, the Blazers have something. Like when they play the Warriors, it's just a different sort of energy. And I can't necessarily put my finger on it. But I think it's going to be an exciting series. I think if Dame and CJ can play their highest level in terms of offense too, like giving at least 30 apiece, which they can do, and the second unit doesn't necessarily keep the lead but extend it when they're in, I think it's possible. I think it's going to be fun. I just think it's going to be a fun series. You got the Curry versus Curry situation, great backcourts on both sides. I'm just excited about it.
Brooke Olzendam with us. Hey, thanks so much for spending some time. Enjoy your afternoon in Oakland, and we'll be watching for you on Twitter at Brooke Olzendam. The Blazers and Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. We miss you here, but we know you're doing great things out west and in the Pacific Northwest where you're from. So keep doing your thing, and thanks for spending some time with us.
Of course, this is racing season, right? Like everything's exciting around this time. Oh, I missed that. I got to tell you that my dad came to visit me. I think it was my second year, my cousin and my uncle, and they all went to pole day. They had no idea what that even was.
Yeah,
and
it's not at the strip club.
You hush. Real pole day. And they went and they had the best day of their lives. They, to this day, it's like, we remember that we were sitting outside the pub, and this guy named Dave, who I don't even know where he is now, but he had like the first suite or first room, whatever that is, at the track, and so they brought him he brought them for pole day, and they had no idea what they were getting into. They're from the Pacific Northwest. Racing is like, not the same as it is in Indy, and so they just showed up not knowing what to expect. And to this day, they said that was one of the best days of their lives.
Well, Brooke, we miss you around here. Enjoy the Western Conference Finals, and we'll be in touch over the next couple of weeks, I'm sure.
Thanks, dudes.
Thanks, See you later. Brooke Olzendam there on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline as the Blazers are in Oakland to take on the Golden State Warriors tomorrow night. Game one of the Western Conference Finals. Tony Donahue and Kevin Bowen, along with Kyle Udemark, filling in for JMV. More to come. You're listening to FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Powered by the Hubler Auto Group, a dealer to help the people. Shopping for a new or used vehicle? Click drivehubler.com for Indiana's largest selection and best deals. Hubler has it all.
Hey, it's Big Joe for your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer, Reinhardt Heating and Cooling. Serving Hendricks and surrounding counties, owner Danny Reinhardt runs a true family business.
My 3 children, Kevin, Corey, and Kim, they all work for me. I have another gentleman that's been with me since I started, Stumpy, and then Brian come to work for us in 2006, and so we really, truly are a family business.
That's Reinhardt Heating and Cooling, 317-745-4526. American Standard Heating and Air is built to a higher standard. CNDHomeComfort.com for great set to standard spring rebates.
Mecum Auctions, Indianapolis 2019. The world's largest collector car auction returns to the Indiana State Fairgrounds. 2,000 muscle cars, classics, Corvettes, hot rods, resto mods, and more May 14th to the 19th. Register to bid and buy tickets now and save at Mecum.com. Catch the Dodge Thrill Ride at Mecum Indianapolis 2019 at Indiana State Fairgrounds. The experience begins at Mecum.com.
Finally, The Who is moving on. Get set for a true Who experience like never before. This Saturday night, Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center. Pete Townsend, Roger Daltrey. Reserved seats are on sale now at livenation.com. The Icons, the show, The Who. Moving on.
So you're breaking up with me?
It's not you, it's your morning news.
What about my
it's
morning?
It's boring, Karen.
But I grew up watching that station.
Fox 59 Morning News has all the weather, traffic, and local news I need. And they make it fun. When I watch Ray, Angela, and Jim, I feel like I'm in love. I love Fox 59 Morning News, and I don't care who knows.
But I can change. What if I watch Fox 59 Morning News with you?
Well, now we're talking.
Break out of that rut. Have a little fun with Fox 59 Morning News. Fox tonight.
911, what is your emergency?
All season long, critics called 911 outrageous.
This guy sent his bombs through the mail.
Unpredictable.
I'm on this guy's mailing list?
I think so.
And addictive.
Bomb squad just cleared your home, Captain Nash. Nothing there.
So we saved the biggest bombshell.
Or maybe you searched the wrong house.
For last. 911, the explosive season finale, followed by an all-new Paradise Hotel. It all starts tonight at 8 on Fox 59.
No problem. Erectile dysfunction? No problem. Premature issues or low testosterone? No problem. We can help. In just one visit to the Indianapolis Men's Clinic, we can treat your erectile dysfunction or premature issues. It's what we do. All day, every day. Stop waiting. Stop being disappointed in your love life. Take action. The doctors at the Indianapolis Men's Clinic offer the latest solutions for male performance issues, and you'll see results in your first visit, or there's no charge. Call 999-9000 to meet with our licensed providers no matter your age or your conditions. Diabetes, no problem. High blood pressure, no problem. Prostate cancer or low testosterone are causing your issue? No problem. We can help. Call Indianapolis Men's Clinic now to schedule your consultation at 999-9000. 999-9000. That's 999-9000. Online at indymensclinic.com, and be sure to ask about their amazing priapus therapy, known to increase stamina, sensitivity, and even size. The Indianapolis Men's Clinic, your key to a better life.
Chronic headaches, constant sinus infections, pain, and pressure. The fatigue was overwhelming.
That's Karen. She suffered for years with chronic sinus infections. She'd go to urgent care, see her doctor.
And we would do the same thing. Steroids, antibiotics, nasal sprays.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of Indianapolis Sinus Center called balloon sinuplasty.
Now my sinus cavities are open. You can breathe on a constant basis and not get sinus infections. I don't get headaches anymore. I don't take naps anymore. I'm like, oh, this is miraculous.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure? Is it difficult to breathe through your nose? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with the Indianapolis Sinus Center. Call 317-528-9650. 317-528-9650. That's 317-528-9650.
Indiana weather can be extreme in both summer and winter, which is why new windows from Universal Windows Direct, a Midwest company with state-of-the-art technology, will save you money year-round on energy bills. Call 317-659-8191 or go to universalwindowsdirect.com to schedule your free in-home estimate. And right now, for every window you buy, you get the next window free, no limits, and 0% financing for 36 months. Plus, they back it up with a true lifetime warranty. 317-659-8191 or universalwindowsdirect.com, and you'll say, I love my windows.
Hey, it's JMV. Did you know that May is National 529 College Savings Plan Month? Farm Credit Union is celebrating by reminding parents about the Sprout College Matching Account. It's the perfect complement to a 529 college savings plan. This account pays a competitive dividend rate, plus matches deposited funds up to $100 every year. It is fantastic. Stop by any Forum Credit Union branch location today, or for more info online, forumcu.com.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Buy one, get one wiper blade free flat repair and spring safety check. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
I warned everyone 4 months ago that this year the purchase market would be fierce, and I was right. You need to be working with the right lender. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
The Ride with JMV.
It's Kevin Pritchard. Do you have an expectation in your mind as far as when you expect to be Vic to be Vic?
After I spent dinner with him, he looked in my eyes and was like, I'm going to be 200% better. And I was like, I've never been more convinced that a player really thinks that. And he convinced me that he's going to be a much better player. But that's Vic.
The Ride with JMV. Weekdays from 3 till 6 on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
I don't understand the words you just said.
On FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
You a marshmallow guy, Kevin Bowen?
I actually do appreciate some of their little renditions to songs.
No, I meant on s'mores. No, I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say, knowing you full. Are they coming to the Snake Pit or who?
No, they were there a couple years ago. I think is it Skrillex?
Skrillex, yeah.
This year?
That is right.
Yeah, and he used to be in an emo band that I used to listen to in high school. I was like the jock that listened to emo music. It was weird. It was weird. Tony Donahue, Kevin Bowen, Kyle Udemark is here as well.
That's quite the combination right there.
Yeah, people were stunned when they found that out. Filling in for JMV, he'll be back tomorrow. Plenty of action going on at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We'll be out there as well, and there's some crimes happening around the state of Indiana, Kevin. Breaking news, let's start with the Indianapolis Colts. 70-plus bullets strike home of Colts assistant. Police seeking 8 suspects. Police are looking for 8 people who they believe shot more than 70 bullets into a home where an assistant to the Indianapolis Colts head coach lives.
70 bullets?
And they're looking for 8 people, so they were just
that would take quite a while for one person to fire off 70 bullets.
Nobody was inside when the gunfire hit last night at 6:15.
Where was this?
Cressmore Court. I'm guessing that's somewhere on the north side. Police say on Monday they did not know the person who lived there, but has confirmed that the person was an employee with the Colts organization. This is on Channel 8's website. They spoke with a neighbor who saw it happen. Who could have thought on Mother's Day that somebody is that mad at something? Police were still picking up shell casings and other evidence after more than 70 shots were fired on Sunday. We were having dinner around 5:55. I heard boom, 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 boom. Said that sounds like gunshots, said the eyewitness. I was just standing there looking out the window, and I saw that these 2 cars pull up. 4 guys got out of each one. So more to come on that. If you have any more information, you can call Crime Stoppers 317-262-TIPS.
God, thank the Lord no one was home.
That's for sure.
Looks like it's on the west side.
Is it on the west side? So nobody knows where exactly or who it was from the Colts organization. So that ongoing story we can keep you updated with. All right, not to be outdone, the Indiana Pacers, Pacer Sports and Entertainment, involved in an email phishing incident. This is on the Indianapolis Star, Pacer Sports and Entertainment. A limited number of individuals may have had their personal information exposed due to a recent email phishing incident. Individuals involved have been notified with access to a free credit report Monitoring and Identification Program Service. According to the Pacers, a very small amount of individuals, including their Social Security account numbers, credit, debit card numbers, digital signatures, birth dates, driver's license, medical insurance information. First of all,
sounds like life.
First of all, I want to know who these people were, because if it's season ticket holders,
do you have to give up?
Why
all
the
that,
hell do they need your insurance information? Like, is this if you like trip down the stairs in section 20?
Right. Yeah. Here's your Safeco insurance that you have that you have to give up.
But Social Security numbers also. Maybe
wow,
they
it's
were
a lot of
employees.
identity.
Yeah, an investigation revealed that a limited number of accounts were accused without authorization at varying times between October 5th and December 14th. Pacers Sports and Entertainment encourages people to take advantage of the one free credit report allotted to them each year and advises that individuals can place a security freeze or fraud alert on their credit reports. But again, why do the Pacers have this information of people?
Yeah,
unless it was their employees.
I was going to say those are the only people I would think that would be willing or have to give up that sort of information. I mean, you rattled off everything there from Social Security numbers to credit cards to medical insurance.
So
wow,
we'll see what happens there. Tony D 1070 on Twitter.
Not a great day for
at KBowen 1070 on Twitter as well. And then one more here from my neck of the woods, up in the armpit. You guys ready for this? You guys are both married men, so this may be. I'll have to speed you up on what these things are. But a violent attack using a hookup app leaves a woman in jail for a year. A Fort Wayne woman was sentenced money to a year in jail after pleading guilty to attempting to steal a man's vehicle after luring him to a local hotel using a dating app. Christina Fusick, 19, was heating coffee in a microwave around Christmas while performing a sex act on one of the men she lured to the room at the Best Western Inn in Valparaiso. Good old Valpo getting it done there in the region. When she felt the coffee was hot enough, after checking it twice, she threw it on the man and then struck him in the back with a lamp. She then fled with his keys, but he was able to get his clothes back on and pull her out of the vehicle. The room was paid for by another man she had met the day before on Plenty of Fish, a dating/hookup app, according to police. Police say that she used the app earlier to meet a man in Chicago, lure him into a convenience store, and then flee in his vehicle. So this was the second. This was the second. Stealing of a car that she had done, and drove from Chicago to Valpo, which is about a 40 to 45 minute drive, depending on what route you take. Hopefully, she knew where she was going.
That's some great resiliency by the guy who gets coffee thrown on him, gets hit in the head by a lamp, and still is able to get back out to his car and pull her out.
You remember the 30 for 30 with Reggie Miller winning time, and everybody kept saying, "Oh, he had the presence of mind, to turn around and hit the three." This guy has the presence of mind.
That is quite the presence of mind.
While mid-sex act, she goes and puts a cup of coffee on, throws it at him, hits him with the lamp, and then he gets his pants on and runs out. So maybe the Best Western in Valpo has that security footage. I'd love to see that.
I would love to see you swipe right on this lady and just hear the stories.
Man, she pleaded guilty to battery after attempting theft and return, for the other charges being dismissed, according to Porter County Superior Court Judge Roger Bradford, who at one time married my dad and stepmom in 2003 at a Moose Lodge.
Is that serious?
I'm telling you what, the fact that I'm not very classy, but the fact that I'm as normal as I am coming from the region and I'm not fat working in a steel mill is an absolute miracle. But yes, my dad did marry. They live in Seattle now, but they did get married at a Moose Lodge. So keeping it classy up there.
The state of Indiana never ceases to amaze me when it comes to criminal activity.
You know, I go through it. I always like to look at the mug shots of these people, and at least twice. From my hometown or Northwest Indiana, I'm familiar with somebody on that crime time. So you didn't have that at Cathedral. You guys kept it classy over there. But
no.
Up where I'm from, it was like the damn Wild West.
I was going to say, nothing like that. But
that's why I had to get the hell out of Dodge. All right, let's get to the Colts a little bit. We haven't had a chance. I know John's on hold, wants to talk Pacers. A lot of things that we can discuss with the Colts. Ndamukong Suh has kind of been brought up. Sometimes I feel like fans, as they should, they hear a name, they understand the name, they recognize the name, so they want the Colts to go after him. But a little bit more to this, where does Ndamukong Suh possibly fit with the Colts?
Well, I do think there is a potential need to upgrade a defensive tackle right now, and honestly, probably more so just to get bigger. if you look on the roster right now, Al Woods, who was your starter last year at one of the defensive tackle spots for the first half of last season, he just signed with Seattle in the offseason. And you aren't very big. Your starters, if you're going to go play tomorrow, are probably Marcus Hunt and Danico Autry. Two pretty effective guys, but nowhere near a wide body that you normally think of at the defensive tackle spot. So I actually think Grover Stewart, who's more of a backup defensive tackle, he's the only defensive lineman over 300 pounds. So that's where I think there is interest at defensive tackle. But to me, Sue just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Certainly, just based off a little bit of his personality. And I think he'd be pretty hungry for a one-year deal that is worth a lot of money. And I'm just not sure if the locker room fit is as, what it looked like it was there for Justin Houston. Justin Houston made a lot of sense. I'm not sure if Sue checks all those boxes.
Let's head to the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline to get the ride of JMV, Tony Donahue, and Kevin Bowen filling in. The winner of the 6th Annual IndyCar Grand Prix at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway joins us, Simon Pagino. Simon, thanks for your time this afternoon. I know it's a busy day for you.
Yes, it's been 2 busy days, but for good reason. So really was really excited to get back to Victory Lane at the Indy Grand Prix for the 3rd time. And you know what? I think one of my favorite things was to have John Menard with me on the podium there. He was ecstatic.
You know how much John Menard is worth? Just out of curiosity. I looked this up the other day. It's mind-boggling. $11.5 billion.
Well,
so Roger Penske's not even the richest guy in his garage at all times. And the cool thing about John Menard, and Simon, I know that you can probably talk to this. He's been around the sport for years, and he's just, I guess for the lack of a better term, a good old boy who loves racing and loves coming out and being involved in racing. I think that's pretty cool.
I think this passion for the sport is just incredible. He's just very passionate about it. He's done so much for it. Being able to give him wins is very important for us. But most importantly, like you said, he's just a very simple person that just enjoyed racing.
Simon, take me back to after that race, on Saturday, I guess, and I believe you said something along the lines of the sweetest win I've ever had. Why so sweet?
Well, it was so sweet because of how we did it. I mean, it was we started 8, we got to the lead in the dry, then we got shuffled back when we pitted for the wet tires. It was a pretty eventful race. And then we restarted the race in 6th position in the rain, which I really loved the rain. And then we managed to win the race out of nowhere, really, because we were so fast. So definitely for all these reasons, it was the sweetest. Obviously we had a year without wins, and, I was kind of thirsty for blood. So that made me feel really good in the end.
Well, the momentum that can be gained on Saturday into the Oval, we know you qualified on the front row last year. You mentioned it was a struggle through 2018 and not the best start to 2019. But to get that win and to gain that confidence back heading into the 103rd Indianapolis 500, how big is that for you as a driver?
I mean, it's always important to have momentum going into the 500. I've noticed it in 16 when we had such a strong start of the season. My whole team were really pumped up, but we also used a lot of our luck before Indy. And I do believe luck goes by cycle. So I think this is just perfect timing, perfect momentum. We're 4th in the championship right there in the mix of it. So, obviously Indy is a bit different. I don't really consider that race being part of the championship. It's to me, it's a one-off that you win, you're a hero. You finish second, it doesn't matter.
Simon, when you look back to just all those guys you picked off on the final 15 or 20 laps, was there one that was maybe a little bit harder that you thought, man, this is taking a lot of effort to get around, whatever, Piggott, Harvey, Dixon, whoever it was?
Harvey, I thought, did a fantastic job, really, at defending, and he adjusted his driving. I don't know if he had a spotter telling him what I was doing, but he impressed me in the way that he adjusted his driving, picked up the pace when I got behind him, and it took me longer than I wanted, certainly, because I could see Dixon running away with it, and that was my concern.
Simon Pagenaud, the winner of the 6th Annual IndyCar Grand Prix, his third win in that event, joins us on the Andy Moore Automotive Group hotline. As mentioned, we had that last yellow, about 15 laps to go. The rain was coming. What adjustments did you make on your car to get you past Scott Dixon with about 2 laps to go?
Well, couldn't make many adjustments. It was what we had at the time. The biggest thing was to take care of the tires enough so they wouldn't be completely burnt by the time I got to Dixon. But the biggest thing is I drove with a lot of determination and hunger, and I found a gap and I went for it. I really didn't plan on passing Scott where I did, but I just did. I was not thinking much. I was just doing, and that was pure instinct driving.
Simon, I think Kyle Moyer, your race strategist, said after the race he had never seen something that good, or maybe he said that to you right after you crossed the yard of bricks. Well, what does that mean, knowing full well where you were with 15 laps to go and the fact that you were able to, get your first win in over a year?
Well, in racing, and personally, I think when your peers, especially the people working with you, say something so rewarding, that's when you feel a lot of joy. I put a lot of work into it. I put a lot of effort into it, and racing's not easy. There's a lot of outside factors that come in play, and sometimes you may have driven the best, but it doesn't show in terms of results. And when you have a day like we had this weekend, and it was just perfect all the way, the driving, the car, the strategy, the calls, everything was just perfect. So it was very satisfying.
So you're taking Tom Cruise to be the pace car driver for the 130 Indianapolis 500?
Is he the pace car driver?
No, but that's what you tweeted back to me. I said why not George Clooney? They haven't made an announcement yet, but you're going to bet on Tom Cruise? I'd be cool with that.
I'd be cool with Tom Cruise. I mean, I loved him in Days of Thunder. That was one of my favorite movies as a kid. So, man, that would be awesome. I would definitely draft him as much as possible.
Quickly before we let you go, your expectations for the 500, what you're going to work on this week, and how do you balance that race setup with trying to get your car dialed in and trimmed out for qualifying this weekend?
Well, the first question is the track. They've put a sealant on top of the asphalt, so the track's changed a little bit. We don't know what it's going to do in the hot conditions yet. We know what it does in cold conditions. It's really nice. It's really grippy, but it could be different in the heat. So we'll see what it does throughout the week. Temperature is going to rise, so we'll have an opportunity to see. But we have a laundry list of things to go through. Obviously, we're going to check our spare wings to make sure that they all function the same way. We need to check the car in qualifying version compared to race version. Obviously, I'm going to put a little bit more work into the race car because I think that's what could get us the win. But I do want to make sure we qualify in the Fast 9.
Simon Pagenaud with us. He won the 6th Annual IndyCar Grand Prix on Saturday from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He is en route right now to the Penske Chevrolet. He's got an appearance up there on East 96th Street, an autograph session with Team Penske starting at 6:30. Simon, I know it's been a busy 24 hours for you. We greatly appreciate your time, and keep on digging. We'll keep exchanging Twitter posts, and good luck throughout the weekend in the 103rd Indianapolis 500.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on the show. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Thanks for Simon Pagenaud and the entire Team Penske crew for getting him to call in on such a busy day. We could talk about that if you like at 239-1070, at Tony D 1070 on Twitter, as well as K-Bowen 1070. Talking Colts, Pacers, IndyCar Grand Prix. John, we'll get to you. Stay on hold. More of the ride of JMV without JMV coming up right after this.
Be sure to check out the Fans Events tab to see when and where we'll be at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway live this entire month. Details online now, 1070thefan.com.
Hey, it's JMV, and cutting season 2019 is here. Are you ready? Paul and the gang at the Mower Shop in Fishers have you covered. Toro, Zero Turns, Honda push mowers, Hustlers, the Spartan lawnmower, which is so awesome. You can go ahead and check out what they have to offer at themowershop.com. You buy it there, they will deliver it directly to your door. And they're also the place for all your parts and supplies. That's themowershop.com or 849-9500. Tell Paul I sent you. Themowershop.com. Now.
Hey, neighbor. How's Josh? Haven't seen him in a while.
He took on a second job. The boy just can't seem to figure out what to do with his life.
Yeah, Ryan was the same way. Being cooped up in an office cubicle just wasn't for him, you know?
Yeah, I don't think Josh is cut out for the office either.
So Ryan became a union electrician, and he's happier now. More confident and earning great pay. What? Hey, where are you going?
To talk to Josh. This is right up his alley.
This is Steve Minzer, business manager for the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 481. Being a union electrician is rewarding. Our members earn good pay, full health care, and benefits that allow many to retire before the age of 60. Plus, our hands-on craftsmen get to see what they accomplish daily, something not always visible with a desk job.
Rates continue to drop and are near historic lows, and the value of your home is increasing 10 to 15% every year. Maybe you haven't pulled the trigger on a refinance because you don't want to start over with 30 years. Well, at thehomeloanexpert.com, you pick your loan term. You want an 18 or 27-year loan? No problem. Choose your loan term with the 5-minute loan approval only available at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Hi, I'm Tony Canal, and I'm here with Chuck Jones at BUS's Chevrolet. Chuck, it's May, and it's Indy 500 time.
Tony, it's also time to move some new Chevys. Right now, we got 22% off new Chevys for the entire month of May.
Wow, fans, now's the time to save big on Chevys.
That's right, TK, now's the time.
That sounds like winning to me, and it's all about winning.
If you want to win with a new Chevy, find new roads to Bill Estes Chevrolet or online at BillEstesChevy.com.
Dan Doggett here. Things are unpredictable and uncertainty is uncomfortable. But when it comes to your retirement, you need to be comfortable with a plan that will ensure you'll be comfortable in that retirement. I want you to pick up the phone and call Crown Haven Wealth Advisors at 844-896-7233 and ask for a custom-tailored retirement plan for free. And that's a $500 value, and ask for a copy of Baby Boomer Retirement Boot Camp. Even if you're working with an advisor, second opinions are important. And when it's about something as crucial as retirement, a second opinion is vital. Call Crown Haven now, ask for Casey or Gordon, and request your free custom tailored retirement plan, a $500 value, and you'll get a free copy of Baby Boomer Retirement Boot Camp. It's a book. Call 844-896-7233. That's 844-896-7233, or go online at crownhaven.com.
Don't put up with a cranky old water heater. Time to get a new one and get happy. I'm Corey Kreitzberger, General Manager of Benjamin Franklin Plumbing. Replace your water heater with us and enjoy 24/7 service, local, licensed plumbers, and 100% satisfaction, guaranteed. Plus, we'll give you a free 10-year warranty upgrade. That'll make you happy.
Go with the flow, the local pros. Call Benjamin Franklin Plumbing.
Terms, conditions, and tax may apply. License CP 101-00018.
Reliable internet. Is that important to your business?
We couldn't work without it.
At Comcast Business, we go beyond fast with amazing solutions and a great deal.
What kind of solutions?
Well, how about automatic 4G LTE backup for complete reliability?
I like the sound of that. What else?
Powerful Wi-Fi that keeps your employees connected, and bandwidth you can allocate between your customers and employees.
I didn't know Comcast Business did that.
Oh, I'm not done yet. Advanced voice solutions at affordable prices. How about business TV that keeps customers entertained?
Okay, I'm convinced. But didn't you say something about a great deal?
Right now, get started with 75 megabit internet for $49.95 per month for 2 years when you add 2 voice mobility lines and sign up for EcoBill and automatic payment. Call 1-800-501-6000 today. Comcast Business. Beyond fast.
Monthly service charge increases by $10 without EcoBill and autopay. Offer ends 5/21/19. Restrictions apply. New business customers only. 2-year agreement required. Equipment taxes and fees extra. Subject to change. Backup limited to update hours.
Join 300,000 fans screaming over 700 horsepower engines at the Indy 500 presented by Gainbridge. Get your tickets at IMS.com. This is Indy. This is May.
Powered by the Hubler Auto Group, a dealer to help the people. Shopping for a new or used vehicle? Click drivehubler.com for Indiana's largest selection and best deals. Hubler has it all.
The marina is open, so book your staycation today at Four Winds Lakeside in M Marina, 3 nights for just $249. FourWindsLakeside.com.
Need air conditioning service or a great rebate on a new air conditioner from an American Standard air dealer like Baptist Heating and Air in Indy? Visit IndyHomeComfort.com today.
The Jeff and Big Joe Show has moved to mornings. Weekdays 7 to 10 on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. The Ride. Ride with JMV.
Hey, Tony, get your bag and get the hell out of here, will you?
On FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Welcome back to Ride with JMV, not JMV. That's me, Tony D. Kevin Bowen is here. We mentioned this earlier in the show. With 36 cars ready for the Indianapolis 500 with 35 drivers, Oriol Servia, who I reported a couple weeks ago would be in that car. He did test for Schmidt-Peterson Motorsports. He said news coming in 10 minutes to the top of the hour. It'll be announced that Oriol Servia will drive the number 77 for Schmidt-Peterson Motorsports. Something we haven't got to and we'll dive more into in the 5 o'clock hour. The Cleveland Cavaliers make a hire of Jim Beeline coming down from Michigan. A little stunning when we saw that news this morning, Kevin.
Yeah, I was stunned. Like I said earlier, I had to check to make sure it wasn't a fake Twitter account that I was getting duped on early on my Monday morning. But, yeah, John Beeline to the Cavs. Sound like, he wanted that Pistons job a couple of years ago. I think he's just ready for a challenge unlike anything he's ever had. He's made such an unbelievable ladder rise through never being an assistant coach in college basketball, but yet coaching at the JUCO, the D3, the D2, et cetera, et cetera. He's accomplished an unbelievable amount at Michigan. Honestly, I think it sucks for college basketball.
Yeah.
Obviously, IU and Purdue fans are probably thrilled by it, but in terms of how much turmoil and how shady a lot of programs are being run nowadays, I don't think we ever thought that about John Beeline and Michigan. I'm really, really curious to see how they fill that opening.
Top of the hour coming up. Kevin Bowen, I will ask you if we are going back to the track, what we saw of college coaches making the jump to the NBA. There was a period of time kind of after Rick Pitino where we didn't see that happen too often, but with Billy Donovan, now Beeline, some other guys could be in the works. Brad Stevens, obviously. Also, top of the hour, we'll recap the IndyCar Grand Prix. If you missed Simon Pagino on with us last segment, you can head to 1070thefan.com to check out the podcast. We'll talk NBA playoffs, a little bit of Colts and Pacers news as well. You're listening to FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. Tony Donahue, Kevin Bowen filling in for JMV.
There's never an excuse for missing anything on The Fan. 1070 The Fan on connected devices and smart speakers. 1070thefan.com. 1070 The Fan app on iTunes and the Google Play Store. For a full list, go to 1070thefan.com/listen. Plus, you can listen to all the shows by subscribing to the podcast. Take us anywhere and everywhere you go. FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. Your home for indie sports.
Are you looking for a sales position with a reputable company with high-quality products and reputation, wanting to earn between $100,000 and $200,000 for all your effort and hard work? This is George Faber with B-Window, and with our growth, we have 2 openings on our sales team. Go to bwindow.com. That's bwindow.com. You've seen our ads for 35 years. Come join our exclusive sales team and start making the money you deserve.
That's Faber's B-Window. Trust me.
That little blue box is pretty pricey.
Meet Brittany Tellings, a diamond expert who used to work at one of those jewelry stores with the colored boxes and the sticker shop.
They would come in and they would have an idea and they're like, whoa, is that how much that really is? I would then discover what their price range was, and then I would have to shuffle on down to the much smaller carat weights. And they're like, oh, that looks like a little chip of ice. A lot of times they would leave empty-handed.
But now that she's at Diamonds Direct, it's the opposite. Brittany can offer her customers the same quality diamonds, the same luxury experience, but at a reasonable price. It's like reverse sticker shock.
We end up blowing their minds. They never even fathomed that they would be able to afford that.
Bigger, better diamonds for less.
People are just thrilled with what we offer.
Diamonds Direct, the white glove service you want with no compromises and the value you deserve, just in a different color box.
Let's be honest, you don't wear the blue box. The box shouldn't be more important than the ring.
Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion. Get directions and store hours at diamondsdirect.com.
Are kids better off in an intact family? You bet they are. This is Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Kids living in a household with married parents do better in school, they're emotionally healthier, and they're more likely to stay out of trouble with the law. If you're in a troubled marriage, of course you should do everything you can to save your marriage, if only for your kids' sake. This includes considering alternatives to divorce. Of course, in some circumstances, divorce is unavoidable. In either case, if you're a man facing a crisis in your marriage, let us help you at Cordell & Cordell. Remember, we're the partner men can count on.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 317-322-0122 or visit online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Indianapolis. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana 46204.
You forget something?
Yeah, listen, I'm not going to be able to pick up Braden tonight after practice.
Oh, did something come up at work?
Nah, not even going to make it in today.
Why? What's going on?
Well, I'm coming up on some construction in about a quarter mile. I've already started ignoring the signs. In a minute, I'll force my way through traffic while texting. I'll pull the wheel a little too far and drive right through the barrels where I'm going to hit a few workers. One of them is going to get killed, so then I'm going to be arrested and charged with vehicular manslaughter.
No one plans on having an accident, but you can plan to avoid one. Read the signs. Slow down. Stay alert.
This is Ward Daniels, business manager of Labor's Local 120. Every year, not only do accidents in the construction zone kill and injure workers, they can also cost you, the driver, thousands of dollars and time in jail.
A message from Indiana Laborers International Union of North America and affiliated locals.
Slayer, the final world tour continues with Lamb of God, Amada Marth, and Cannibal Corpse. This Thursday, Ruoff Home Mortgage Music Center, Slayer. The end is near. Tickets on sale now at LiveNation.com. Part of the Coors Light Concert Series.
From the racetrack to the road, every Honda is chasing perfection, and the stylish 2019 Accord is no exception. With an available 252 horsepower, 2-liter turbocharged engine, the Accord is a celebration of excellence. Combine that with the comfort of the elegant interior and the excitement of the available sport mode, and this refined and agile vehicle is as close to driving perfection as you can get. Learn more about Honda's high-performance prowess on and off the track at HondaRacing.com.
Maybe you haven't pulled the trigger on a refinance because you don't want to start over with 30 years. You want an 18 or 27-year loan? No problem. TheHomeLoanExpert.com.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Buy one, get one wiper blade free, free flat repair and spring safety check. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
This is Indy Sports Center. WFNI, WIBC, HD2, W298BV, W228CX, Indianapolis. The talk of Gasoline Alley with Speedway historian Donald Davidson. Weeknights at 8 on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
I am in the parking lot right now, hammering a bacon, egg, and cheese, hold the cheese, in preparation to go deep with 4 hits and put on a laser show to the likes of which you have never witnessed in your entire life.
On FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Comes off the final turn for the final time. He will see the twin checkers. That is as hard as he ever fought to win a race. Simon Pagenaud goes to victory lane for the 3rd time in his career here at the IndyCar Grand Prix. Scott Dixon is 2nd, Jack Harvey is 3rd.
It's off to Leonard, defended by Simmons. Is this the dagger? Game! Series! Toronto is won!
Big weekend in the sports world. NBA playoffs ongoing. The IndyCar Grand Prix. Simon Pagenaud, the winner of that call. Mark Janes on the IMS Radio Network. Tony Donahue alongside Kevin Bowen filling in today on the Ride with JMV. A quick look back into the weekend, KB. First and foremost, the IndyCar Grand Prix down to the wire. The rain really picked things up. An awesome win for Simon Pagenaud.
Turning back the clock a little bit with how dominant he was on the last 15 or 20 laps. But, as we were talking about earlier, I think one of the more entertaining, maybe the most entertaining Grand Prix we've seen. I enjoy just all the different strategies late in the race with what you're doing with, different sorts of tires. And obviously you had a caution there with about 20 laps to go that I think definitely helped Pagenaud, be able to pick off guys down the stretch, and we had on pretty much everybody earlier with Simon Pagino and Jack Harvey on.
If you missed Connor Daly, Simon Pagino, or Jack Harvey, head to 1070thefan.com. Check out the podcast. KB, you mentioned this in the first segment back in the 3 o'clock hour, but it is official now. Aero Schmidt-Peterson Motorsports officially announces that Oriol Servia will drive the 77 Moto Gator Honda in the 500, so 36 cars with 36 drivers. Now, we did read earlier today that Kyle Kaiser of Juncos Racing has lost their primary sponsor, so we haven't officially learned if they will be out of the 500. I don't think that they will, but that'll be interesting to see a storyline when he will be on the track tomorrow. Indeed, if he is going to race with Refresher. So tough how that happens. It's happened a few times in the past.
Yeah, this is something I was thinking about earlier, and yeah, obviously hope that gets cleared up. I saw the entry list. I didn't see Carlos Munoz's name. Well, why not him? I feel like he is a one-off in the 500 and always is pretty darn aggressive and up there a lot of years.
That's been a question that I've gotten a few times, and as we mentioned, sometimes talent takes a back seat to money. And Munoz is the guy who has finished strong at the 500. He's led laps. If it wasn't for the fuel number that Rossi got in 2016, he wins that race. He was second to Tony Kanaan in his rookie season. But sometimes it just doesn't come together, or somebody else. It could be as simple as somebody else brings the check a little bit faster. And I know, he was with the Andretti Autosport last year. Even guys like Steph Wilson, who was in the race last year, won't be this season. So I guess it just matters of who has the right amount of money at the right time. So it looks like we will have 36 driver car combinations. 3 will be going home. We will know that this time next week with qualifications on Saturday. We have you covered right here on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. And then the Fast 9 shootout on Sunday, as well as the shootout for that last row. We'll have 6 drivers fighting for the last 3 positions. All right, the Eastern Conference and Western Conference finals are set. The Portland Trailblazers and Golden State Warriors will battle tomorrow in game number 1. And then the Milwaukee Bucks and Toronto Raptors will battle in game number 1 coming up on Wednesday. How impressed were you yesterday with the performance out of Kawhi Leonard?
That's up there. I mean, in terms of playoff performances we've seen individually over the last 5 to 10 years, honestly, for what, given everything that's happened with him over the last year and people, questioning just, maybe how into the game of basketball he was and the risk that Toronto took in breaking up a core that had, taken that franchise to levels that, they had obviously never reached in their short history. I thought Serge Ibaka was big off the bench for him as well. And some of those possessions from Philadelphia late in that game, like, what the hell were they doing? Like, put Joel Embiid on the block, throw it down to him, and just play off him. Whether that's Redick, swinging around the arc to try and set up, an open pass with Joel Embiid getting doubled, or, Simmons or Harris or Butler cutting. Those were some horrific possessions for Philly late. And as we heard, Kyle playing it, coming back from the break. I mean, what a shot by Leonard. It's funny when you see the normal TV camera angle, basically what all of us watched live, the baseline camera angle, it looks online when he shoots it. So you really think the entire time that, like, oh, this has a chance to go in. Even when it first bounces, I thought, wait a minute, this is still online. If you watch the baseline cam, which is now I think kind of the slow-mo shot that we're starting to see more of, it is amazing to me how that ball barely hit on the front of the rim, still took the right enough bounce to get over the rim from Kawhi's point of view and eventually go in.
And that was an odd angle. I mean,
very odd angle with Joel Embiid obviously closing out on.
You would think that, you have a play drawn up. You obviously don't know what the defense is going to come after you. You would probably, I think, if you're the Raptors, probably one of the better shot, but you give it to Kawhi, see what happens. And we saw after a very emotional Joel Embiid crying. I haven't seen a mixed, it's on the TV right now, a mixed with him and the crying Jordan meme yet, which I'm sure is coming. But
how about Kawhi's emotion?
Yeah, I mean
that's something we haven't seen from him, and
he's normally an even keeled guy.
Very, and that's something I love about just the raw moments we get in sports. And obviously I'm a huge golf fan. I go back to Tiger Woods is just kind of letting it all out at the Masters last month. We mentioned earlier in the show on different scales, but Simon Pagino showing that emotion he showed yesterday after the race. Will Power last year in the 500, getting that monkey off his back. I mean, that for Kawhi Leonard, yes, he played at an unbelievable level for San Antonio for several years and was huge in their championship runs. But this is his team. A lot has happened since he's had that sort of moment. And in a Game 7, if they lose that game, maybe he's not looked at as a failure per se, but what Toronto did maybe doesn't work out, and people are really questioning things. And now, if Toronto can beat the Bucks, this is a core that we could see in the Eastern Conference. I know it's a big question if Kawhi Leonard wants to come back, but yesterday was a huge step in the right direction if you're a Raptors fan.
Bucks and the Raptors Eastern Conference Finals gets underway on Wednesday. So for the three of us in this room and a lot of you listening out there, we are going to see either the Bucks or the Raptors into the NBA Finals for the first time in our lifetime. Obviously, the Bucks haven't gone since 1974, and the Raptors haven't gone over their franchise history. I think that's going to be the better of the two series. You and I discussed that earlier. Who has the advantage? Because Kawhi's a killer, but Giannis Antetokounmpo is probably going to be the most physical presence on the court. I'm not going to say best player on the court yet because he hasn't gotten this far. We've at least seen Kawhi Leonard, who has the experience, has an NBA ring. I'm not going to say the best player on the court, but from a physical specimen and the ability to take over a game, I think Antetokounmpo has that nod, but I think the best player of the series is going to be Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fascinating series, and I do think it'll be a 7-game series, or at least 6. I think it's something that we could see deep into the month of May. I'm very, very interested to see just the sorts of bodies Toronto throws at Giannis, because I do think they have some very long, intriguing athletes that could cause Giannis just to see a couple different body types maybe than he's used to seeing if he was playing the Indiana Pacers or something like that. But what the Bucks did in coming back from that Game 1 against Boston, I mean, that showed me a lot, because we haven't seen them in this moment on this stage. And I know each series, when you get to the semifinals, now you're to the conference finals, things get ratcheted up. But that was big for them. And it wasn't just Giannis doing all of it. We talked about it. George Hill, Pat Connaughton. I mean, guys that, we aren't really used to seeing maybe at that level played at a very, very high level. We'll see, where Malcolm Brogdon is as well. I think that is a big injury to watch for them. I guess I'll go with Toronto if you're going to make me pick. But I think it's going to be a series that could go 6 or 7.
The other Game 7 yesterday saw the Portland Trail Blazers knock off the Denver Nuggets to advance to their first Western Conference final since 2000. We had Brooke Olzendam on earlier to talk about that. This series, Kevin Durant going to miss Game 1. Rodney Hood could be back for the Portland Trail Blazers. I think that if the Blazers are going to compete in this series, there's a chance that coming off that big win yesterday, carrying that momentum into tomorrow night without Durant is their best chance to steal a game on the road and make this a series. Your initial thoughts as we head into the Western Conference Finals tomorrow night?
We were talking earlier with Brooke. I just love watching Portland play because I think C.J. McCollum and Damian Lillard, two small school guys coming out of college, their backcourt has a bit of a feel to me of like I'm watching a mid-major team and they have these two smallish guards and they aren't some freaks from an athletic standpoint like a Russell Westbrook or something along those lines. They just score the basketball. And even when things weren't working for Damian Lillard in that department yesterday, he got others involved. I think did he finish with a triple-double? I think he was close.
Very close.
He was close to it. And obviously C.J. McCollum, carrying the heavy scoring burden. Having said that, I wonder if this Durant injury, which like you said, Tony, sounds like he will definitely miss Game 1 and probably Game 2 on Thursday night. I wonder if that's re-energized Golden State a bit. And like, all right, we got to go back to the, as you called it earlier, the Malibu lineup, where they put out Draymond Green and Iggy, and they go a lot smaller than we're used to seeing them. I still like Golden State in this series, and I would be a little bit surprised if it got to a sixth or seventh game. But if Portland has got to get one of these first two, because it sounds like Kevin Durant could be back, and what's up with Boogie Cousins as well. I think that's something that people thought he could come back at some point here in the Western Conference Finals.
Where are you and where are fans, NBA fans across the country, across the globe, on the Warriors, going for a third straight title. Are we to the point now where you start kind of cheering against the Warriors because you get sick of them winning? We've got 3 teams outside of the Warriors that haven't been to the finals in a very long time. 3 new teams, so to speak, new to the party. We knew somebody new was going to come out of the East whenever LeBron James went west, the Lakers. We probably knew in the Western Conference it's going to be the same old Warriors. Are we starting to see teams, or are we starting to see fans rooting against a team that continues to win, that being the Warriors?
I think so. Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's gotten to like Patriot hatred in the NFL, but I do think it's teetering more so than it has in recent years, because I still think when you were facing LeBron in the finals, you still had a large, sector of fans that hate LeBron.
Yes.
or don't want him to be better than Michael. So they're going to cheer against him in the finals. And then now with the Warriors, I just feel like they've gotten a little whiny this year. Just, I don't know. I feel like the whole NBA just whines. But, I think with some of their actions this year, and Kevin Durant and Draymond Green, I don't think are 2 people that a lot of people love compared to maybe even like a Klay Thompson or a Steph Curry. I think fans like a lot more. I do think the vast majority of NBA fans are probably sick and tired of their run and are really curious to see what happens from an Eastern Conference foe. Both of these teams, as we said earlier, from a history standpoint, the Bucks and Raptors don't have much at all. And yes, Kawhi Leonard has been there, Danny Green has been there, but outside of that, a lot of these guys on the Bucks and Raptors, this is so foreign to them. How will they react into these moments that Golden State has thrived in over the past handful of years?
You mentioned Danny Green from the Raptors, a guy who came over in that trade. Has kind of been rumored that maybe the Pacers would have interest. Looking at what we saw yesterday in those Game 7s and knowing what we have in the Pacers moving forward, and we're not sure how long it'll be until Victor Oladipo gets back, who are some guys that the Pacers need to get to this level where the Bucks are, where the Raptors are, and compete to get to the Eastern Conference Finals? Because, look, bottom line is here, the Pacers haven't drafted well in a very long time. They haven't gotten over that hump, and I think fans are growing tired of, as what JMV calls these Kmart blue light special guys, like Tyreek Evans, who I will admit I was a fan of a year ago when that happened. I did not like the signing of Doug McDermott. I think he's proven that we know what we have in him, and I know he shot 40%, and people are always going to fall on that to defend him, but
that was a lot of money.
That was hard to believe. What are some guys, maybe some names? How do you talked earlier in the show, they got to work on their tempo, which I certainly think is something, but what can the Pacers do to get better, to get to where we're still talking about them come May 14th next year?
Well, I will say one thing before we throw out names, Tony. You look at Toronto and Milwaukee, you got to develop some of your own talent. And I'm talking about late first-round picks, second-round picks. There are some guys, and not all of these guys are draftable talent that the Bucks and Raptors had. Some of them they've gotten via trade, but you have got to be able to hit on guys that right now aren't at that all-star level. You have to develop from within. I think both of those teams have done a tremendous job with that. I'm starting to be resigned to the point now where I feel like, okay, Kevin Pritchard is going to be super aggressive, and he can say that, and the Pacers can try to be that. But what's the return? Like, what's the other person saying to you? Because this is a marriage. It takes 2 people to say yes into this situation, and I think it's going to be very difficult to lure one of these players, like I know JMV has talked about a ton on this show, and I agree with. I think you have to get another more of a 1A type of guy instead of more of these complementary pieces that I feel like that's how the current roster construction is built. The Danny Greens of the world, Terrence Ross, we mentioned earlier. JJ Redick is a free agent again. Can you finish the job there? Does Redick want to leave Philly? What can Philly do with some of their current pieces that they have? Rodney Hood is a free agent. Wayne Ellington. I know none of these names are going to make many people that happy, but are those more of the realistic names that we ever start thinking about? Because I think that they might be for a team that, like you said, wants to improve pace and wants to also improve their 3-point shooting. And if you do lose a Wes Matthews and a Tyreek Evans that I think all of us expect to happen. Both of those guys are free agents. You're going to need a backup two guard. So maybe some of those names, factor into that mix as well.
Quickly, while we were on the topic of the NBA, we will get Kevin Bowen's perspective on the two new hires in the NBA. But let's go to Mike on line one. Mike wants to talk about the NBA playoffs. Mike, go ahead. You're on with myself and Kevin Bowen.
Hey, guys. Hey, you guys will know this better than me, and tell me if I'm wrong, but with the playoffs, and I'm sure this is all done by contract previously, the entire Western Conference playoff is done on ABC, ESPN, and the entire Eastern Conference is done on TNT, I believe. I was hunting and pecking around yesterday trying to find the late game, and finally found it on TNT. But does that sound accurate to you guys?
I think, and we'll look this up off the top of my head, I think TNT is the home for the Western Conference Finals.
I thought it was flipped.
Is it flipped?
Yeah.
I know okay, so
I think
Western Conference is East. Yes, it flips every year,
yeah,
right?
it flips every year. So, the Western Conference will be the Mike Breen crew, and then the Eastern Conference will be the Reggie.
ESPN and ABC, right?
Yep.
Combination.
So
okay,
ESPN,
correct.
ABC, and I believe you should be able to hear most of those games, especially in the Western Conference Finals here on the Fan. But tomorrow night on ESPN, 9 o'clock, Portland and Golden State, and then TNT on Wednesday night, 8:30, Toronto and Milwaukee.
And you have the schedule right in front of you. That's every other night, right? So we won't have any more off nights, I think, until the NBA Finals. Yes, definitely no doubleheaders, and not even like a Saturday off like we had over the weekend.
Thanks for the call, Mike.
Whoa, one more. You still there?
Yep, go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, so interesting teams, and the three that jump out at me that probably fell short of expectations would be Boston, Houston, I think for sure, maybe Oklahoma City, and then the other one being I'm going blank here. Philadelphia. What happens to those rosters? Because you had teams that came up, I think, probably beneath their desires or expectations. Do you see a lot? Because I don't see Denver shuffling the roster a lot. I think Denver's young, probably affordable, and they probably are going to be pretty similar. I'm just kind of curious. There's 3 or 4 rosters there, 3 and then Oklahoma City. Do you see a lot of roster changes there with those programs?
I would say definitely more so the Eastern Conference teams, Boston and Philly, more so than OKC. Mm-hmm. Maybe Steven Adams is a free agent, but I mean, Paul and Russell Westbrook obviously are under contract. So I don't think that OKC will have a ton of turnover, but I agree. I mean, they certainly underachieved this year, so I will be curious to see what they do to their roster. But Philly's got Butler,
Tobias Harris,
and then Redick as well. Boston, the Anthony Davis rumors aren't going to stop anytime soon. And then Kyrie Irving, what happens there as well. So I would think certainly there will be some changes. And, Danny Ainge, I think, has to sit down with Brad Stevens, and they've got to find this balance of like, okay, do we need some super team, or do we feel like the chemistry that maybe we had a couple of years ago is something that could be better in the long term? Obviously, you still have a ton of talent in Boston. Even if Kyrie Irving leaves, you still got a ton of talent. So
I go back to what Kevin Pritchard said at JMV a couple weeks ago. Look, we are set up to have a lot of money because we think that there is going to be such domino effects this offseason. There's going to be so many free agent and so much movement going on starting maybe draft night in the NBA that we want to be in position with some money in our pocket to go out and get some of these guys now that things have kind of changed with Victor Oladipo being out. So we can get to that and more. You're listening to The Ride with JMV. JMV out today. We'll be back tomorrow. Tony Donahue and Kevin Bowen filling in. We'll hear from Mario Andretti coming back. Continue to talk about the NBA playoffs and some of the new coaches from around the league, and we might even fire up and anything goes. You're listening to FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Powered by the Hubler Auto Group, a dealer to help the people. Shopping for a new or used vehicle? Click drivehubler.com for Indiana's largest selection of best deals. Hubler has it all.
When I started Shane Company, I wanted to offer couples in love something no other jeweler in town was offering. Something you could only get if you had a friend in the jewelry business. Unique engagement rings at an affordable price. To keep our prices low, I needed to travel to all 3 diamond capitals of the world and buy our stones only from the best cutters in each market, eliminating all middlemen and their markups. To get the prettiest diamonds, ones that I'd be proud to give to a loved one, I had to handpick each stone individually. To offer unique engagement rings without designer name markups, I created an in-house design team. After all these years, we're still the only jeweler in town doing these things. That's why, when you come in to build your dream ring, you'll get the most beautiful engagement ring at the best price. Now you have a friend in the diamond business. Shane Company and ShaneCo.com.
Hey, it's JMV, and cutting season 2019 is here. Are you ready? Paul and the gang at the Mower Shop in Fishers have you covered. Toro, zero turns, Honda push mowers, Hustlers, the Spartan lawnmower, which is so awesome. You can go ahead and check out what they have to offer at themowershop.com. You buy it there, they will deliver it directly to your door. And they're also the place for all your parts and supplies. That's themowershop.com or 849-9500. Tell Paul I sent you. Themowershop.com. Now,
hey, Dan Dockich here for Window Nation. It is graduation time, not just for schools, but it's time for your home to graduate. Graduate up to new energy-efficient windows from Window Nation. And as a graduation gift, all window styles are 50% off. You choose beige, Bose, double hung, wood, vinyl. Any size, any color, all custom made, and all up to 50% off. Window Nation's massive buying power is a diploma in deals, and they'll pass the savings to you. It gets even better. A house of windows for as low as $69 a month. $69 a month is lower than your cell phone bill. And if you call Window Nation this week, take 50% off every window plus get free, yes, free blinds with a purchase of a house of windows. New windows save energy, improve the look and value of your home. All as low as $69. That's just $2 a day in free blinds. Call Window Nation today, 866-90-NATION. We'll provide a quote valid for a full year. Go to windownation.com as well.
In person, you can actually see what makes a Diamonds Direct diamond so superior to an ordinary diamond. But on the radio, you can actually hear the difference. Here's a diamond from Diamonds Direct. And here's a diamond from that other store. Or worse yet, a diamond from one of those online brokers. The fact is, Diamonds Direct's diamonds always have more sparkle, more fire, more brilliance, because each one is carefully chosen by people who know quality and who refuse to compromise. Real, rare, precious diamonds. From the core of the earth to the hands of the most skilled cutters, then graded and certified by the most stringent and reputable gem labs. Indeed, these are the world's finest. Excellent cut, perfect clarity, eye-catching brilliance, spectacular sparkle. It all adds up to a virtual symphony of excellence in a diamond that shines like no other. Diamonds Direct. Music to her ears.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. I warned everyone 4 months ago that this year the purchase market would be fierce. Homes are selling quickly, and we are pre-approving more folks than ever before. If you're going to get into the home that you want, you need to be working with the right lender. We can get you pre-approved in 5 minutes with a lower rate and close on your new home in as little as 14 days. The 5-minute loan approval only available at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
So you're breaking up with me?
It's not you, it's your morning news.
What about my morning?
It's boring, Karen.
But I grew up watching that station.
Fox 59 Morning News has all the weather, traffic, and local news I need. And they make it fun. When I watch Ray, Angela, and Jim, I feel like I'm in love. I love Fox 59 Morning News, and I don't care who knows.
But I can change. What if I watch Fox 59 Morning News with you?
Well, now we're talking.
Break out of that rut. Have a little fun with Fox 59 Morning News. Fox Tonight.
911, what is your emergency?
All season long, critics called 911 outrageous.
This guy sent his bombs through the mail.
Unpredictable.
I'm on this guy's mailing list? I think so.
And addictive.
Bomb squad just cleared your home, Captain Nash. Nothing there.
So we saved the biggest bombshell.
Or maybe you searched the wrong house.
For last. 911, the explosive season finale, followed by an all-new Paradise Hotel. It all starts tonight at 8 on Fox 59.
Are you wanting a stable, growing career with competitive wages, benefits, and that's also willing to train you to get your CDL license? Then Ray's Trash wants to talk to you. Ray's Trash is looking for general labor CDL drivers and mechanics. With over 300 trucks and growing, Ray's Trash is looking for If you need trash service, call Ray's Trash.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Buy one, get one wiper blade free, free flat repair and spring safety check. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
Need air conditioning service or a great rebate on a new air conditioner from an American Standard air dealer like Mr. Lee Heating and Cooling in Noblesville? Visit IndyHomeComfort.com today.
Sports with Dan Dockage.
Mike Tirico, nice enough to join us. When did they tell you, how does it work in your world?
The normal traffic is the race ends right after the first interview with the trainer. We heard, hey, something might be up. And at that time, our producer was telling me, hey, something's up, hang on a second. And he's getting me the numbers for the horse. And the objection is what's technically called, is that we're in for about 25 minutes.
Dan Dockage, weekdays noon till 3 on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. The Ride with JMV.
Wow. I don't know what to say. I guess the only thing I can say is I'll promise to keep rocking and rolling and making better films.
On FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
They could have Wahlberg as the pace car driver out there. Aren't they bringing a Wahlburger somewhere here in Indy?
You got a who's who right now that you've been throwing out there today.
Just
Tom Cruise, Wahlberg.
Why not Leonardo DiCaprio? We'll just throw everybody out there, right? Tony Donahue, Kevin Bowen filling in for JMV today on The Ride with JMV. He'll be back tomorrow. Things get started out at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for oval practice in preparation for the 103rd Indy 500. Kevin, we were talking about the NBA last segment. Frank Vogel to the Lakers with Jason Kidd, the coach in waiting whenever LeBron kicks Frank Vogel to the curb, which will probably be December. And then,
boy, I was going to say Thanksgiving, but
yeah. And then John Beilein to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Two, I guess, surprising coaching moves made by both the Cavs and Lakers.
Surprising in different ways. You know, Frank Vogel, I think we would all agree, is a very qualified NBA head coach, but maybe the fit in LA is what is surprising. The John Beilein thing is very surprising, I guess, just by the timing of it. It seemed like the Cavs were looking for a young assistant that could groom up, with this young group I guess they're trying to assemble. We'll see what happens with the lottery tomorrow night. John Beilein, I didn't realize until I saw this earlier that he's 66 years old.
Yeah.
That's old,
Was it a 4-year?
Five-year deal, yeah. And you would think it's going to take all 5 of those years to get Cleveland back to being, a upper echelon team in the Eastern Conference. But yeah, certainly the trickle-down effect here locally is major because there's not a program that I think is on more stable ground in college basketball that you don't hear showing up in any sorts of, FBI cases over the last few years. So from a college basketball standpoint, it's a big loss. But I think from a Big Ten standpoint, fans are probably thrilled because Michigan is a team that has been just really one of the more consistent programs we've seen under Beilein.
We haven't seen it as much as maybe what we used to, obviously, with the Celtics and Pitino going there, but with Brad Stevens to the Celtics, now Beilein. We know that Billy Donovan is in Oklahoma City as the head coach there. Are we back on track with college coaches and major college, in major conferences, major programs moving up to the NBA? Is this still a rarity? Where do you see this moving in the future?
I think it's a rarity until Stevens or Beilein possibly starts having, tremendous success. Stevens had a nice run, but two conference finals, I want to say it's been in 6 seasons. And he's had a great load of talent. Look at this current roster. John Beilein is not going to have those same pieces at all here in the next 3 or 4 years. You're building around Colin Sexton right now, and we'll see what happens, like I said, with the lottery. So I don't think it's going to be a huge domino effect to the college game. I think most NBA owners, it seemed like Dan Gilbert and Cleveland in general had a connection with John Beilein. Their assistant general manager is Mike Gansey, who I remember that West Virginia team pretty well. I think a lot of people do, that made a run in the tournament, over a decade ago, 15 years ago. Mike Gansey had that long T-shirt, him and Kevin Pittsnoggle and those Mountaineer guys, and they Mike Gansey is now the Cavs assistant general manager, so there's a connection there. Their owner, Dan Gilbert, lives in Detroit, so he definitely follows the college basketball programs, pretty closely up there as well. So I think there are some pieces in place to where this added up to be a move that I don't think, all 30 NBA owners / general managers would be totally comfortable with.
You got a list of names over there of possible potential replacements up in Michigan.
Yeah, and this is a list that I don't know if I don't know how realistic some of these names are. This is Jeff Goodman, who's with Watch Stadium right now, former ESPN college basketball writer. So he breaks them down in a couple tiers. His tier that's worth a call, two of the names you just threw out there, Brad Stevens and Billy Donovan. I would think
Pipe Dream? Is it the Pipe Dream category?
Yeah, I would say that's fair. I would say Donovan a lot more realistic than Stevens. Because maybe John Beilein at the age of 66 was like, I just hate recruiting anymore.
I don't like being in these kids' front room anymore.
Right. There's enough weekends at Grand Park that you want to be up there watching, AAU ball. He breaks down his next tier into the top 3: Mike Bray, Chris Collins from Northwestern, and then Mike White from Florida.
Mike White is a very good basketball coach. His assistant, I believe, is Dusty May still there? Did he move on? But I know there was a connection here with that. But
doesn't that seem like a big drop off though? You go from Brad Stevens and Billy Donovan to Mike Bray, Chris Collins, and Mike White.
I think maybe Mike Bray is not a big of a drop as what people would say, but the others, yes. I think Bray's. Him and Payne are the best coaches in this state over the last.
Yeah, I'm a huge Notre Dame basketball fan.
Yeah.
I like Mike Bray a lot, but I don't know. You would think, given Michigan's, how much they are paying.
Yeah. Would a Steve Alford
John
come to mind?
Beilein.
Are there? Would you make a run
I don't know
at Greg
about that.
Marshall at Wichita State, who
Yeah,
struggled
probably.
last year? Wichita State hasn't really done much since that Final Four run of 3 years ago.
I don't. There isn't a lot of great names that stand out to me as like definites on that list. His next tier, he then goes into LaVall Jordan.
Yep.
Who was on John Beilein's staff at Michigan. Bobby Hurley.
Yep.
Arizona State. Ed Cooley, Providence.
Yep.
Porter Moser, the hot name last year, or I guess
Loyola.
2 years ago, Loyola Chicago, taking them to the Final Four. And then the name that
Can I guess?
Yeah.
You gonna give me a clue what you're gonna say?
Well,
Calvin Sampson.
Well, no.
Oh, wow.
I already started laughing at this one. Michigan connection.
Oh, Juwan Howard.
Juwan Howard.
Well, hell, why not just interview Chris Webber while you're at it? Why not? It'll be interesting to see what that does. And like you said, there's a trickle-down effect because when you think about Big Ten basketball around here, the staple has been Michigan. You could say Michigan State may be a close second, but Michigan with the Final Four runs that they've had.
And Michigan's gotten talent out of this state.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, there is a huge trickle-down effect, not only just college basketball landscape. I know Michigan lost a lot. It seemed like their top 3 guys, I think, all are either going to the NBA or will go to the NBA. So, yes, from a college basketball landscape, like from that view of it, it's huge. But certainly here locally, Michigan and Michigan State have been able to come into this state and, find quality players, whether, Zach Irvin or Gary Harris or, even going back to like a Zach Novak or Stu Douglas, Aaron Henry right now at Michigan State as well. It's a little region guy.
Big crybaby. I played baseball against him, or with him and against him growing up.
He was a solid college basketball player early in those Beilein days up there.
Growing up, I played baseball in Chesterton, where he was from, and we played on the same team and played against each other at times. But yeah, there is a big trickle. I don't think Butler's all that concerned about losing their coach, though.
Who on that list?
Honestly, it's Mike Bray. Honestly, I think Mike Bray. But do you want to leave Notre Dame?
Yeah, it just seems like
outside of money. Look, obviously you're competing in the
and facilities.
Yeah.
Notre Dame, you're always going to play second fiddle and you can make the argument. Obviously, at Michigan, you're going to play second fiddle. Yeah. I would say that you are playing second fiddle at Notre Dame. There's a bigger drop off from the football program to the basketball program in South Bend than there is at Michigan, because from a facility standpoint and a fan standpoint, they support the basketball program, I think, much, much more than what Mike Bray is getting at Notre Dame.
But with Mike Bray, it's hard to compete.
It is.
You've got North Carolina, you've got the Dukes of the world.
And from a recruiting standpoint, you have maybe 10 of the top 100 kids that A, want to listen to Notre Dame, B, could get into Notre Dame each year.
Yeah. And then Michigan,
from
all of a
recruiting
sudden,
standpoint.
The drop-off, so to speak, and to be able to compete in the Big Ten might not be all that big, and he can go and compete in Michigan right away. So we'll keep an eye on that over the next couple of weeks. Earlier today, they're putting up street signs all over the city of Indianapolis, drivers, and Mario Andretti put up his street sign. It's on the corner right there across from the Jimmy John's on Washington and Meridian. And when they brought him down, I had a chance quickly to catch up with him. I started the conversation by asking him, hey, it's the 50th anniversary of your win in 1969. How cool has it been to get all these accolades from your win 50 years ago?
Well, I can say that the cup runneth over already. Just amazing, what's been going on is just the last couple of days, but the preparation and what the Indianapolis Museum have done also, with the displays that they have there. And so all of it, and it's just beginning. So, I cannot believe, what's actually happening, but it's totally grateful for it. Can you imagine?
And you'll be in the two-seater to pace the field. Always hard to dive off the track when they come green?
Yeah, I always keep saying just make sure it's full of fuel. Maybe sometimes they'll decide to stay out there for a while.
Again, Mario Andretti there had a quick moment to catch up with him as they put his street sign up. And, we were talking about the pace car, and people can throw names out if they want. But those announcements will be coming here over the next couple of weeks. John,
it was Corey Crawford, right?
Yeah, Corey Crawford. He was. I don't know who was in the pace car, if anybody, but Crawford was in the pace car. I'm not sure who was in the two-seater.
The two-seater was some YouTube guy who's like a huge car.
Yeah.
I have no idea who he was, to be honest with you.
So who's going to be in the two-seater? Who's going to drive the pace car? Who's going to wave the green flag?
The two-seater was Lady Gaga last year?
Was
that 2 years ago?
That was the 2016 race? I think it might have been
really
the 100.
that far.
Yeah, and they didn't announce that until
that was very last minute.
They didn't know if she was going to be there. And when they showed up, they said, "Oh crap! Well, we're going to throw her in that." So, national anthem I think still has to be announced. So those should be coming obviously here in the next 13 days, as we know, but it should be coming up here throughout the week as well.
Speaking of Mario, his grandson, where are you putting him on a little power ranking list right now? I would guess middle of the pack-ish.
Yeah. Was really surprised on the lack of speed and the lack of competition for the Andretti drivers on Saturday. Marco's always good here. He's very experienced, but the car looks great. I could tell you that, but if I was a betting man, I wouldn't put money on Marco, only because he struggled there in the last couple of years.
Yeah, recently it seems like he's had.
And really, honestly, he hasn't. He was 8th 2 years ago, but I don't think he had I think he had a really good stretch there in like 13, 14, 15 where he was in the top 10. But since then, he's just, like you said, middle of the pack, qualifying outside of I think two of his last 3 starts, he's qualified outside of the top 10. He's also finished outside of the top 10. It just seems that Marco just hasn't been able to get it going. I know he ran good at COTA a couple weeks ago. He had a top 10. I think he finished 6th, but my expectations are not as high for Marco as they would be for Rossi, Hunter-Reay, and even Connor Daly, because I think Connor is really going to just go for it and just absolutely, not hold back. Hopefully that doesn't get him in trouble during the race, which it has in the past. We saw 2 years ago when he wrecked going into turn 3 when he made it too wide around the outside and ended up in the wall. So not the biggest of expectations for Marco now. So we'll see how that works out. All right, 239-1070 is our number. We're going to have to fire it up because JMV's away. His favorite segment, we're going to do it without him. Anything goes. Give us a call, 239-1070, 239-1070. Kyle Udemark will not check you in, and we'll roll it. You can rip on me. You can rip on whatever you want, whatever you got to say. Anything goes coming up right after this. This is FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Tune into the Fan Morning Show with Jeff and Big Joe this week for your chance to win an American Dairy Association of Indiana prize pack. # Winners Drink Milk. You won't want to miss out. Details 1070thefan.com.
Hey, it's JMV for the best, and that is Connecticut water. Do you have great water? If you don't have Connecticut, you don't, so get it right now, and here's a great opportunity. The Connecticut Premier Series Water Softener, K5 Drinking Water Station, and with that, the new leak detection system technology, and now take $1,500 off your purchase. It's that easy. Check out the 2 locations, Northeast Side Castleton, South Side US 31 and Southport Road, online for my guys at Connecticut, Joe, John, and Dennis. ConnecticutIndy.com today. This offer won't last long.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. Rates continue to drop and are near historic lows, and the value of your home is increasing 10 to 15% every year. Maybe you haven't pulled the trigger on a refinance because you don't want to start over with 30 years. Well, at thehomeloanexpert.com, you pick your loan term. You want an 18 or 27-year loan? No problem. Choose your loan term with the 5-minute loan approval, only available at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
Welcome to the Sagamore Club, a private golf club and residential community like no other. Sagamore is inspired by golf's time-honored values and traditions. Just recently, Sagamore was recognized as one of the area's top private clubs, as the Jack Nicklaus signature design was rated the number 10 course in Indiana by Golf Digest. In addition to its award-winning course, the club features numerous amenities for members and guests, including upscale casual dining, swimming, tennis, fitness facility, and an active social calendar. Sagamore offers a place where your home can be created just for you by one of the area's finest custom builders. Set up an appointment to experience the Sagamore Club. Start your journey in making your dream home a reality today. Call 776-2500, 776-2500. Sagamore Golf Club and Community in Noblesville between State Road 37 and I-69. Sagamore, your club, your home.
With the new Kubota Sidekick, durability meets speed. It's the first gas-powered utility vehicle of its kind, built with acceleration and handling that blur the line between working hard and having fun. Right now, get the new Sidekick for 0 down and payments as low as $196 a month. Now through June 30th, 2019. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for more information.
Find a Kubota dealer near you at GoKubota.com.
Business owners and professionals face special challenges in divorce court. In addition to everything else going on, they have to contend with allegations that they are earning more than they are, coupled with claims on their business or practice itself.
Attorney CPA Joe Cordell.
An effective defense often hinges on sophisticated strategies relating to income tax projections, business valuations, spousal support claims. Clients with assets depend on their divorce lawyer's skills in these matters, and that's why it's so important to hire someone that has those skills.
Contact the domestic litigation firm of Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. 317-322-0122, or visit online at CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Indianapolis. Cordell & Cordell, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana 46204.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
It's Big Joe. Right now, for every window you buy, you get the next one free, no limits, and 0% financing for 36 months. Call 317-659-8191 or go to universalwindowsdirect.com. And like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Hello, this is Rob Evans. At INHP, we believe everyone in Indianapolis deserves to live in a safe, decent, and affordable home in a vibrant neighborhood. That's why INHP provides homeownership education classes, affordable fixed-rate home loans, and down payment assistance for low to moderate income households. INHP clients gain knowledge and purchasing power, enabling them to afford the home of their choice in a neighborhood that's right for them. Learn more about the choices available to you at INHP.org. That's INHP.org.
Hi, I'm Tony Canan, and I'm here with Chuck Jones at Bill Estes Chevy. Chuck, how long have we known each other?
Tony, you've been coming to Bill Estes Chevy as long as I've been here.
Well, Chuck, it's my 22nd year in racing.
Wow, let's do something to celebrate. To honor your career, we're going to take up to 22% off new Chevys during May.
That sounds like winner to me.
If you want to win with the new Chevy, then find new roads to Bill Estes Chevy or online at BillEstesChevy.com and get up to 22% off. Just ask for the TK deal.
Chuck, you're the man.
Thanks, TK.
Mecum Auctions, Indianapolis 2019. The world's largest collector car auction returns to the Indiana State Fairgrounds. 2,000 muscle cars, classics, Corvettes, hot rods, resto mods, and more May 14th to the 19th. Register to bid and buy tickets now and save at Mecum.com. Catch the Dodge Thrill Ride at Mecum Indianapolis 2019 at Indiana State Fairgrounds. The experience begins at Mecum.com.
The marina is open, so book your staycation today at Four Winds Lakeside in M Marina, 3 nights for just $249. FourWindsLakeside.com.
Soccer Saturday featuring Indy 11. If this is your football, this is your show. Saturday at 9 on The Fan. With JMV.
Can I buy you guys a drink? Guess not.
On FM 107.5 at 10.
I hate this song. John knows it too. I think this is terrible. But it's Anything Goes. FM 107.5, 1070 The Fan. The Ride with JMV. Tony Donahue, Kevin Bowen filling in. Anything Goes, the most unfiltered segment. Calling out. Kyle will not check you in. We've got about 4 or 5 minutes to run through this. Kevin, anything you saw in Miami that might be a fit for Anything Goes? Did you see any man thongs down there? Or anything?
I would say I saw a couple of those. Unfortunately, dude, it's just a different lifestyle down there. It is just a different world.
No nude beaches?
No.
The thing with nude beaches is when you go,
beaches.
the people that are there and are nude are not the people that you want to see.
right,
like,
exactly.
They're not.
That's the nude beach I expect to see up in the region.
Hey, whoa.
Not,
they are. Well, I think it was an April Fool's joke. But there is.
Isn't there like a beach up there?
It's not a. They were going to open a beach, but there is a. It's Southmore, and it's not a brothel. It's a nudist colony, and you can go there and
nice.
People party. And,
have you been there?
No, actually I haven't. My dad used to go all the time.
Oh wow.
He used because we used to have a lake house in Monticello, and it was like 20 minutes, and they would always. I never understood. It's like, why are people naked? Like, why do? Like, I was a kid. I was like, why would people want to go there? It's also like when my dad used to say Emerson when we walked up and down Georgetown, and I thought Emerson Fittipaldi was around, but it stood for Emerson Nice. You fill in the blanks. So 239-1070. Anything goes. Line 1. Go ahead. Anything goes. You're on with myself and Kevin Bone. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Charlie over at Seymour.
Hey, Charlie. How are you?
I'm doing good. I just called to let you know, if the good Lord's willing, this will be my 65th year at the Indianapolis 500.
Well, we hope you can get there.
Love
that's
it, Charlie.
Great. Do you remember who won the first race you went to?
No, the first race I went to, Bill Vukovich went over the back wall, and he was going for his third win in a row, and he went over the back wall and
was that 53? Does that sound right? 53 maybe.
Who won now?
We can ask Donald Davidson.
Call back at 8:05.
Yep, 55. Bill Vukovich won in 53 and 54 and 55. Yeah. So you're 65th coming up. Congratulations, and with the good Lord willing, we wish you the best of health.
I'll be up there. It'll be my 65th year.
All righty. Well, we appreciate you calling.
I'll be 83 in June.
All righty. Well, you enjoy it.
I enjoy calling and talking to you guys. I like your show.
Well, thank you so much. We'll pass it along to JMV. You probably like him better than you like us.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, bud. Kevin,
Charlie.
What number 500 will this be for you?
Ooh,
did you grow up going?
A little bit off and on. I'd say this is probably like 13 or 14 for me.
Mm-hmm.
Something around there. What are you? I mean, you got to be in the 20s, right?
26.
Yeah.
This will be 26. 94 is my first year. So this is my 10th year credentialed. So I think you have to get in the Old Timers Club, you have to be credentialed for 20 years.
Oh.
So
okay.
I'm 10 years away from that. So there's a chance that when I'm 40, I could be in the Old Timers Club. I don't know if that's the first person that would be in the Old Timers Club or not.
You
that's
got to
40,
be, yeah.
But there you go. So,
can't be many people that have achieved that at that age.
I want to thank Connor Daly, the Indy Grand Prix champion, Simon Pagano for calling in, as well as Jack Harvey, who had a great weekend with Meyershank Racing. Also, Mario Andretti for spending some time with us. KB, appreciate you being here. Any closing final thoughts that you have on anything that we've discussed today?
Always enjoy it. You know, I'm with you. I went back and watched that race on Saturday, and I thought there was a lot of excitement. I don't know, unfortunately, how much is that Mother Nature related? Is that something you can kind of bottle up and continue for the Grand Prix in years moving forward? I don't know, but I enjoyed what I saw Saturday, and I don't usually say that at certainly of past versions of that race.
Yeah, no, it certainly was, and even for a while, it was the weather because Scott Dixon was running away and hiding with that race. He had great pit stops. I'm not saying Simon couldn't have caught him if the conditions stayed quote-unquote dry, even though it was pretty damp throughout the afternoon. But certainly the rain, the great equalizer, kind of brought the car alive for Simon Pagenaud. He kept those right front tires, and the changes that Dixon made on that last stop kind of weren't for the best, it seemed like, especially when it started to rain. And he moved forward. All right, tonight, instant replay coming up at 6, trackside at 7. And the talk of Gasoline Alley comes your way at 8 o'clock. Every night this week, 7 until 8, you'll hear trackside. 8 until 9 will be the talk of Gasoline Alley. Plenty of Indianapolis 500 content and coverage throughout the week. I'll have some Carb Day tickets to give away here on my Twitter account at TonyD1070. So make sure you are listening. KB, thanks for being here.
Enjoyed it, man.
Spending your Monday with us. Kyle Udemark, awesome job as
Thanks, Kyle.
always. All the podcasts.
Sorry about John Beeline.
Yeah. All the podcasts will be up on 1070thefan.com. Again, at TonyD1070 on Twitter. JMV will return to the hot seat coming up tomorrow at 3 o'clock. She'll have Greg Rakestraw, among others, on as well. More to come here on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. Instant replay at 6. Trackside and the talk of Gasoline Alley later on this evening as well. Enjoy your night here on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Powered by the Hubler Auto Group, a dealer to help the people. Shopping for a new or used vehicle? Click drivehubler.com for Indiana's largest selection of best deals. Hubler has it